Hey guys, welcome in. Happy Wednesday. Rob Kendall Show. Thanks so much for being with us. We got a lot to get to today. This feud between Todd Rokita, the Attorney General for the state of Indiana, and the head of the Hamilton County Republican Party is freaking wild. And one of the reasons I love this show, so Abdul has a big expose on this over at Indie Politics. And I'm reading this thing last night, and I'm thinking, okay, man, we have to talk about this on our show today because there's so many layers to this. I mean, you've got Todd Rokita, the Attorney General, in this big old brawl now with the head of the Hamilton County GOP, who is one of the most prominent Republicans in the state, and they're both super huge Diego supporters. And I was reading this last night. I'm going through all of this, and Abdul, again, has a huge piece on what we're about to talk about. But I'm reading this going, there's no way I would be able to do this in 5 minutes. So now, this is what our show is all about. We can do all the fun stuff. Indiana news and politics and government. You're not going to get anywhere else. Now, we do national stuff, too. 3 hours a day, every day. But our bread and butter, the local stuff, the Hoosier State stuff, that is where we live. And guys, don't wait today. Just get your thumbs up out of the way before you even begin the program. Hit that thumbs up. Like the feed. That helps us out. It actually helps us out throughout the course of the show as well. So give us that thumbs up. Let us know you like the program. Before we get to the feud between Rokita and the head of the Hamilton County Republican Party, we got to talk about my new column out today in Indy Star. We talked about it yesterday. It is out now. You guys can read it over at indystar.com. And what I basically do in this piece is I take a look at what the fall is going to look like, or what I think the fall will likely look like for the Republicans in Indiana if they do as I expect them to do, and nominate Diego Morales to be their candidate for Secretary of State. Look, it defies all logic. It defies all logic. And I was having a conversation with a couple people over the last several days, and there are people who have vested interest in the Republicans doing as bad as possible. That should probably narrow it down for you a little bit. But talking with people who have a vested interest in the Republicans this year doing as bad as possible, and they said, I cannot believe the Republicans are about to do this. It's good for these people. They're very happy. The same way as I go into the article, it's good for me. It's good for my business. It's going to be great for our show. We'd lose a whole bunch of show content if Diego loses at convention. Now, I love my state more than I love my show. I love better government more than I love my show. I would gladly, if you said, Rob, you got to take the content hit to get rid of Diego at convention, I would take that immediately, no questions asked. But in this article, I try to walk through what the fall actually looks like if the Republicans go with Diego. And look, you guys know, and I've said this for years, the only way our government is going to change is if the Republicans start losing some elections. One of the reasons the Republicans govern so poorly is because they don't fear losing. They actually fear, as they saw just a week or so ago, the only real chance they have of losing is in the primary. Now, this one was a little different. The script was kind of flipped. Usually, it's establishment people that all they got to do is appeal to the donors and the lobbyists and the political class, and they'll raise enough money to fend off conservative challengers. Now, in this case, the money this time came in from the Trump people, from Turning Point USA, from the Banks Dark Money Group, Banks affiliated Dark Money Group. But normally the Republicans operate on, hey, if I just don't make any donors or lobbyists mad, or I don't make any local government officials mad, there won't be any candidate recruitment against me, and I'm going to be okay. And that's because they don't fear the Democrats. They take the conservatives for granted. Indiana Republicans take the conservatives for granted because we as conservatives have done a horrible job of just voting out of fear for Republicans no matter what. And until the Republicans start having a fear of losing something, they're not going to govern better. That's what this has always been about for me. You're never going to get good governance from the Democrats. The only shot you have is with the Republicans. And right now, the way the Republicans behave because they don't fear losing, we're not getting anything. And so, really, if you're invested in better governance, Diego losing this fall, the Republicans losing that office this fall, is your best shot to wake up the Republicans. And I've told everybody, I've said, if you get approached about signing the petition for Ballard, I encourage you to do it. Doesn't mean you have to vote for him. Doesn't mean you have to support him. Doesn't mean you have to campaign for him. Doesn't mean you have to like him. But the more people that are on the ballot, the better conversation we're going to have this fall about how the Republicans have actually governed. Look, if Ballard doesn't get on the ballot and it's By against Morales, so what in this article, what I do is I walk through with the premise, the scenario with the premise that Greg Ballard gets the 37,000 signatures, which I think he will. We talked about this yesterday. Knowing who's running Ballard's campaign and Ballard himself, I don't see any way they would have ventured into this endeavor without pretty much a guarantee they were going to be able to get those signatures. And so in this article, I operate from the premise of Ballard being on the ballot and what a campaign for the Republicans looks like with both By and Ballard campaigning against Diego. And you're going to have Bowe By, the Democrat, who's going to raise over $10 million. I've talked to multiple people connected to that campaign who have said he is definitely, easily going to raise $10 million. And then you couple that with Ballard, who, let's face it, Ballard isn't even a candidate yet, and he's raised $300,000. He will raise easily over $1 million. And so you're going to have one candidate with more than $10 million to spend. You're going to have one candidate with over $1 million to spend. And the whole premise of these campaigns is going to be Diego is unelectable. Diego cannot govern. Diego is corrupt. Diego is unethical. Diego uses the office as a 24/7 campaign machine. One of the reasons Diego gets a free keeps getting elected, both at the convention and in the general election in 2022, was nobody can spread ads across the state telling people what he actually is, telling people the stuff he's done in the office. So we know here in central Indiana, it's why Jeff Moore, the libertarian with no money, got over 105,000 votes in 22. Jeff Moore, if you look at really about a 20-county area around central Indiana, essentially got about 10% of the vote, just under 10% of the vote. He ended up with less than 6% overall because once you get outside of, well, we'll just say it, what was the Rob Kendall listening area, people don't know about all the crap Diego's pulled. But they will know if one guy has more than 10 million to tell everybody and the other guy has more than 1 million to tell everybody, and you got one guy in By just beating the hell out of Diego, and then you've got Ballard running on, hey, I get it. Diego's kind of a sleazebag. And By, you guys don't want to vote for Democrats. Why don't you just come over here to old Uncle Greg? You guys remember me, right? I was the popular mayor of Indianapolis. I'm the reasonable Republican. There's going to be a crap ton of people that are going to vote for Greg Ballard if that's the option. Now, what's interesting is I talked to one delegate the other day, and this person told me, and this is one of the people, there are many, by the way, who are actively looking at, are there other options? She said, under no circumstance will I vote for By. But she didn't, and I think it was deliberate. She didn't say anything about under no circumstance would I vote for Greg Ballard. I was having this conversation with this person about what they're going to do in the fall if Diego's their nominee. And I think there are a ton of people, because Indiana has a track record of this, by the way. Let's go back to 2012 when Richard Murdoch had that complete meltdown on the debate stage about abortion. Andrew Horning was the Libertarian nominee for U.S. Senate at the time, Andrew Horning had no money. Look, I love Andy. Most of you hearing my voice, you've heard of Andrew Horning before. He's a very nice guy. He's incredibly intelligent. He's also a career candidate, and he never raises any money. But he was a Libertarian nominee for U.S. Senate at the time, and he got thousands upon thousands of votes that went his way in the final week of the campaign after Murdoch had his meltdown. Because a bunch of Republicans said, we're not voting for a Democrat, but we're also not voting for that. That was Murdoch's comment on abortion. And they went to the safe harbor, which was Horning. Well, if there's a track record of this, of more establishment-type Republicans leaving the Republican when the Republican is so egregious, like a Diego is, if Andy Horning could pull it, and by the way, Andy Horning for years had the record, I think, for most votes for a Libertarian until Rainwater in 2020, then certainly these people will leave and go to a beloved, respected former mayor of Indianapolis in Greg Ballard, who will have a lot of money. Look, this is not some thing of Rob Kendall hates the Republicans, so it's some fantasy revenge thing that I wrote a column about. I tried to write this from what do I actually think could happen? And I really believe that if Ballard is on the ballot and Diego is the nominee, the Republicans will lose that office. Now, I don't think the state's going to be enamored with By. I don't think this is going to be something where he wins 55% of the vote. I'm not saying that at all. But I think there's a very real world where between Ballard and By, and let's just say collectively the two of them can raise $12 to $15 million, which is definitely not unreasonable. And look, by the way, if we get to say September and there's polling that shows that race is close, the national Democrats are coming in on this one. Given who the Bys are and the idea that the Democrats could get some level of relevance back in this state, you'll see big national money come into this race. It could be $20 million by the time it's all said and done. Because the Democrats know what Diego is and all the crap he's pulled. And the Democrats know that if they can get By into that office, they can open the doors to everything that Diego's done. Expose all of it and who he's done it with. Look, there are a lot of pretty strong theories on who paid for that trip to India. And I've talked to multiple people not connected with each other who have told me the exact same thing on who paid for that trip to India. And I think that that's going to come out, who paid for that trip to India. And if indeed it is who people have said, that's going to look really bad for Diego, even by Diego standards. And this is the amazing thing about the Republicans. They all know this is waiting for them. You think with $12 million, the Bys can't figure it out? My guess is they've already figured it out. If I figured it out with $7, they've probably figured it out with several $1 million. And it's like the Republicans have to know. This is what blows my mind about people like Jim Banks and Todd Rokita coming out in support of Diego. They have to know that all of this stuff is going to come to the surface. All the things that the Republicans have pushed aside, have ignored, just don't talk about when you ask them about it. Excuse it away. Laugh at it. Chuckle about it. They have to know this is all going to get exposed. And to many people, it'll be the first time. By is going to out-fundraise Diego. And then when you offer a guy in the middle like Greg Ballard, who's simply saying, hey, if you're tired of politics as usual on both sides, why don't you consider me? The ramifications of Diego go, and like I said, read the article. I go into detail on this, but they go so far beyond just the election itself. If you're a die-in-the-wool Republican, if you're a diehard Republican, do you really want a third party with primary ballot access that's going to be able to run candidates for governor and senator and attorney general in 2028? You're going to be able to run candidates for Congress with millions and millions of dollars in subsidized advertising by being a part of the primary process. And once they get that primary ballot access, Lincoln Party's going to get a lot of good candidates that'll do that. They don't want the stain of the libertarians, but they'll run if it's somebody with primary ballot access and a clean slate. And that's what the Lincoln Party would offer. And if it's Diego, there's a very real scenario where the total looks something like, and I don't know if this is going to be the exact number, By 43, Diego 40, Ballard 15. And then, potentially 2% for the Libertarian. That's a disaster scenario on so many levels for the Republican. Where they lose the office, they've now got to contend with a Lincoln Party with primary ballot access. And then you start losing elections potentially up and down the ballot, not because the Democrats getting 50%, but if you got quality Lincoln Party candidates pulling votes from Republicans, it suddenly becomes much tougher to win these races. Look, I personally think that's probably best for our state. The probably best scenario for Indiana is Greg Ballard on the ballot, getting past 10%, getting the Lincoln Party established with primary ballot access, forcing the Republicans to finally cater to and value the votes of conservatives, and the Republicans being forced to watch Diego Morales go down in the fall. And so in this article today, you guys can, like I said, read it for yourself over at IndyStar.com. I go into sort of a little more detail about what that actually looks like, how it might happen, how the election could go. Check it out, IndyStar.com. Hey, guys, let me tell you about our fabulous new sponsor. They've been a part of State House Happenings with us for years. Now they're getting in on this Rob Kendall Show train. Our great friends at the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage, located on the water in beautiful Brazil. If you guys are looking for an evening out, an evening away, something a little different, a little down home, a little peaceful, a little relaxing, Honeysuckle Hill Bistro on the water in Brazil, that is the place for you. Look, guys, Brazil, a little out of the way, but it's not like you're driving 3 hours somewhere. It's totally worth the trip. Like I said, scenic waterfront view, outdoor seating, perfect opportunity for you to breathe, relax, an evening away, and you can enjoy a made-from-scratch meal. Or as they like to call it with the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro in Brazil, Hoosier Grub. They would love for you when you go. Now, they have a great menu, which you guys can check out. Just Google Honeysuckle Hill Bistro. But if you go, a little recommendation, the Hoosier Breaded Tenderloin, which the fine folks that own the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro, they think it may be the best in the state, with all modesty. They also have made from scratch dessert pies. You got to try one of those. Down-home food made with love. It's so Hoosier hospitality. The restaurant is literally in the house of the owners, Jody and Andy. How about that? It's like they're inviting you into your house. I've been going there for years. It's a great trip. We always try to make it at least once a year out there. My wife and I, it's an awesome experience. You got to try it out. They're open Friday and Saturday for dinner. They're open Sunday for a lunch or for a brunch buffet. All of it's awesome. Check it out. Just Google Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and reserve your spot today at 812-443-3003, 812-443-3003. Okay. I don't know if you guys have heard this. By the way, if you haven't done so yet, guys, hit the like button. We need you guys to help us keep growing this show. Hitting that like button is a huge way you can do that for us. It takes 2 seconds. Bam. Like. Boom. I know, and look, I admit, guys, before I started doing the YouTube thing myself, I used to hear people say that all the time. I was like, oh, whatever. And I used to not like my favorite podcasts, things that I would watch. But it's 2 seconds of effort. I don't have time for that. Now that I know, I try to always like my favorite podcasts. I always try to give them the thumbs up because, man, it really does help. And if you enjoy the program, you want this thing to grow, right? That's why you're watching. You want this thing to grow. So hit the thumbs up button, like the podcast, let us know that you're here. Share our feed. If you got a Facebook, if you got a Twitter, there's a share button right now, easy to get to on YouTube. Bam, boom. If you're on Apple, Spotify, if you're listening on demand, you can share our feed there as well. We are only going to grow organically. We're closing in on that 3,000 subscriber number. I set that lofty goal, that 3,000 subscriber number by the end of Sunday. And we're getting there. Huge day yesterday. We're within 150 of that number. Guys, help us out. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. Tell your friends, hit that subscribe button yet. If someone owes you money, say, hey, I know you owe me $10. I'll let it slide for another day if you subscribe to the Rob Kendall Show podcast. Great way to do that. We call it like, share, and subscribe. Those are the three things that you can do to really help us grow this program. Two other items. Number one, if you haven't done so yet, the tickets are going fast to the live show. We told you they would, just like last time. And remember last time we told everybody, we said, once they're gone, they're gone. People were like, oh, I'll get them tomorrow. And then they were gone. The Mad Hatter Comedy Club and Event Center, we love that place because it's not a huge building. It's perfect for a live show. The only downfall is we don't have as many tickets to print. We don't have as many tickets to sell. So don't wait. And the setup's going to be different this time. So unlike last time where we could add a few seats, it's going to be harder to do that this time. John, the owner, said it's going to be harder to add tickets. So get them, guys. This is a celebration of our show. It's a celebration of you. It's a chance to get everyone together. All you guys who have formed friends and bonds in the YouTube chat, this is our night to get together. June the 27th, Mad Hatter Comedy Club in Greenwood. It's going to be a rocking time. Just ask anybody who went to the show we did in March how much fun they had there. We're going to try to up our game coming up June the 27th. To get tickets, all you got to do, go to robkendallshow.com, robkendallshow.com. The ticket link, bam, right at the top of the page. You can get your tickets to come see us on June the 27th. Hang out with us. All the VIP people, all the lower level people, you're getting the meet and greet with it. It is my opportunity to shake hands and say thank you to each of you who have helped grow this show. One other thing at robkendallshow.com, support button up there. If you like what we do, if you like this program, if you like the Indiana news and politics and government, you can't get anywhere else, take some ownership in it. Don't be a dine and dasher. Don't be a freeloader. Jason's got to eat, damn it. Don't you want Jason to eat? Hit the support button, robkendallshow.com, $1, $10, whatever it is. Thank you to everyone, the hundreds of you who have been a part of that with us and helping us grow the program. All right, let's go ahead and do this. Let me go ahead and take a break. When we come back, this feud that is brewing between the Attorney General in the state of Indiana and the Hamilton County GOP chairman is wild, guys. It's like nutso in the third degree. We'll talk about it. Coming up next, you're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance, so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. In just a moment, we're going to get into this feud between the Attorney General for the state of Indiana and the Hamilton County GOP chair. Before we do that, let me tell you about our friends at Seal Now. Is your driveway showing signs of wear? If you look at it, good chance if you had it for any length of time, you're going to be like, ooh, that's looking a little rough. You got freeze-thaw cycles, road salts, environmental damage like mold and dirt. They can all cause damage to your driveway, your patio, your sidewalks, any concrete surface around your house. That's where our guys from Seal Now come in. They're the clean, seal, and stain professionals and can help you protect those surfaces. They do incredible work. And they also do more than just concrete. They do wood, too. Decks, fences, pergolas, you name it. Any outdoor concrete or wood structure, they can bring it back to life and protect it. Here's what you do. You head over to sealnow.com, SEALNOW.com, sealnow.com. You can see their work they've done on other people's properties. Get an idea of what your project might look like. Get a free estimate at sealnow.com. And most importantly, if you mention, heard about you guys on the Rob Kendall Show, they're going to take 20% off any long-term project. 20% off any long-term sealing project. 20% off any long-term sealing project just for mentioning you heard about them on the Rob Kendall Show. SEALNOW.com. All right. Let's talk about what's going on between Todd Rokita and the Hamilton County Republican Party chairman, Mario, and what a last name this is, Masalamy. Okay. Abdul. Now, this surfaced a couple days ago. You know who was actually first I saw to report about this was our guy, Indie Reporter. If you guys haven't yet, Steven's a big fan of our show. He does a lot of cool work. We've had him on the program before. Steven Whitmer and a couple other folks that run an account called Indie Reporter. If you're into Indiana news and politics and government, they post interesting stuff all day at Indie_Reporter_ on Twitter. He was actually the first guy I saw to post about this. Abdul yesterday over at Indie Politics did a huge expose on it, though. And so when we get done here today, if you guys want to check that out, you can over to indiepolitics.org and read it. Okay, so Todd Rokita, the Attorney General for the state of Indiana, is suing to dissolve a nonprofit entity in the state of Indiana. The Attorney General's office here in the state of Indiana oversees the state's charitable organizations. So Todd Rokita in the Attorney General's office is in charge of making sure that charitable organizations, nonprofits, abide by the laws and the rules and the regulations that nonprofits are supposed to play by. And if they aren't, now Todd Rokita can't criminally charge someone. We've laid that out before. But he can move to dissolve that entity. If they're not doing the things, the basic standards nonprofits are supposed to abide by, then the Attorney General's office can move to dissolve that entity, and that's what he's doing. So he's filed a suit, Rokita has, in Hamilton Superior Court 5 to dissolve an organization called Third Phase, Inc. Now, Third Phase, Inc. was a homeless shelter, a food pantry, founded all the way back in 1980, so it's been around for a long time. But a complaint from Rokita's office alleges years of mismanagement by Third Phase, Inc., and this is where it starts getting interesting, a proposed below-market sale of the real estate associated with the nonprofit to its own attorney, Hamilton County GOP Chairman Mario Masalamy. Are you guys following me? So what they're basically saying is this nonprofit has been around for a while, long time. We think it's gone off the rails, no pun intended. We don't think it's really doing much of anything. We don't really know where a lot of the money or the resources or whatever are going. We don't know what it's actually doing. We don't think it's abiding by the basic standards, reporting requirements, etc., of its nonprofit status. And now we've got it selling a potentially very valuable piece of real estate to the Hamilton County GOP chairman, who, oh, by the way, just happens to be one of its attorneys. Are you with me? Okay, that's where we're at so far. And again, this is very difficult to understand. I'm trying to simplify it for you as best I can. This is why this show is valuable. This could potentially be a massive deal. This has the potential, depending on where this story goes, to be a huge deal given the power that Masalamy has. He's a super prominent attorney. He's partners with Chris Jeter, who is a state rep. And he runs the Hamilton County Republican Party, which is one of the largest Republican parties, one of the fastest growing Republican parties in the state of Indiana. So Rokita's filings, according to Abdul over at Indy Politics, says third phase, that's the nonprofit, held no formal board meetings between 2021 and 2025. Now, for those of you who don't know, you're required as a nonprofit, as it relates to budgets, things like that, you have to have board meetings. Nonprofits have to have a board that governs them. Now, with most nonprofits, these are unpaid people. They're volunteers. They're people who just help out. But there are certain things you have to do, certain reporting requirements, compliance issues to keep that status, because obviously the big part of a nonprofit is you don't pay taxes. Nonprofits don't pay taxes. Now, people who work for nonprofits, et cetera, they do. The money they get paid. But the nonprofit itself doesn't pay taxes. We'll come into that here in a sec because that's a big deal. So they said, according to Rokita's filings, third phase had held no formal board meetings between 2021 and 2025, reported no employees other than the director, Sandra Vanderberg, for at least 5 years, and keeps no formal budget. So other than this woman apparently getting paid, it appears this nonprofit, at least on paper, isn't doing anything. And so Rokita's office got wind of this and said, hey, you can't do this. You're not doing anything that resembles a nonprofit, the basic nuts and bolts of being a nonprofit. We're done with you. Vanderberg's husband and former board president, Richard Vanderberg, was removed in 2022 and pleaded guilty in September of 2023 to dealing methamphetamine, according to IndyPolitics.org. Now, that stuff's all bad enough. Now, this is where it gets juicy, though. The real issue here that's getting all the attention, or starting to get the attention, is this real estate deal and the fact that, at least on the surface it appears, it could be a sweetheart deal to a powerful Hamilton County attorney, also happened to be an attorney for these people, and a political figure who did work with this dumpster fire of an organization. Here's what Abdul wrote, and I'm going to read this to you exactly as Abdul wrote it so that I don't miss anything or people say, well, he took that out of context or whatever. I'm going to read you this exactly as it was written in Indy Politics. Third phase owns roughly 10 acres at 15755 Allisonville Road next to the Nickel Plate Trail. Next to the Nickel Plate Trail. That could be a pretty prominent area, guys, for those of you who know Hamilton County. In late 2025, the nonprofit signed a partial purchase agreement to sell the parcel for $350,000 to MJS Holdings, LLC, a single-member entity formed on October 17, 2025, with Masalamy as the sole member. So, essentially, any of you single-member LLC people, that's him. It's that they're selling it to him through this LLC. Masalamy's firm had been retained by third phase after the Office of the Attorney General, the OAG, issued civil investigative demands. Masalamy said in an interview with Indy Politics that on the property transaction itself, third phase was independently represented by Robert Miller of Charitable Allies, a separate firm hired by the nonprofit that, according to Masalamy, commissioned the appraisal and negotiated the purchase agreement. So Masalamy's argument is, hey, these guys, okay, yeah, I worked with these guys, and I'm buying this land or tried to buy this land from these guys, but I didn't represent them on this on the sale. They have their own representation on the sale. I represented them on this issue related to potentially getting the nonprofit status dissolved. I didn't have anything to do with that. They have their own attorney. They have counsel helping them on this one. According to Abdul, the $350,000 price was based on a November 2025 appraisal by Sean Patterson of S.J. Patterson Company, which cited deferred maintenance, partial floodplain encumbrance, and the need for demolition. The 2026, so what they're saying is that's the price based on these things that would need to be done to the property. However, the 2026 Hamilton County tax assessment values the property at $1,236,900. So you've got this one appraiser saying it's worth $350,000, but then the assessor's office says it's $1,236,900. An independent appraisal commission from the Office of the Attorney General, so that's Rokita's office, from American United Appraisal Company, had it come in at $1,007,000. So you've got this appraiser working with the group saying it's $350,000. This Hamilton County saying it's $1.2 million. Rokita's office said, we don't trust either one of you guys. We're coming in on our own. And they said it's over $1 million. Now, Masalamy basically tried to claim, hey, the price that we agreed to was based on there needs to be about $400,000 to $500,000 of work on this property, including mold remediation and demolitions. He also said, and this is where we come back to them not paying taxes, Third Phase as a charitable nonprofit is exempt from property taxes and has never challenged its assessment because the assessed value doesn't matter. So like when you guys get your property tax assessment, a lot of you are going to challenge it because the assessment is what they tax you on. 1% is the cap on your property tax. Of course, if you have a school referendum, it's higher. But 1% is the cap based on the taxes that you would pay, 1% of the assessed value. Here, he was saying, Masalamy was saying, hey, look, this group never challenged the assessment, even though they may not agree with it, because they don't pay any taxes on it. So it doesn't matter to them what it's assessed at. Now, it gets even weirder, right? So you guys are following me on this, right? So let's just kind of recap high level. This nonprofit group doesn't appear to be doing much of anything. Rokita comes in, the Attorney General, and says, there's a lot of stuff going on here that kind of look like shenanigans. We're shutting you guys down. One of the things this group has is this pretty valuable piece of property. They then, despite not doing anything, not having these board meetings, not having a budget, so you don't really know where the money's going, they agree to sell this pretty valuable piece of property to a powerful Hamilton County attorney who also happens to be the head of the Hamilton County Republican Party for what appears to be far below market value, according to the Attorney General and the Hamilton County Assessor's Office. Now, Masalamy claims that he was in communication with the Attorney General's office throughout this process. He, according to Abdul, showed phone records that showed calls placed to the Attorney General's office. Now, we don't know what happened in those phone calls, but he showed Abdul phone records that appear to show he called the Attorney General's office. He said, he being Masalamy, he and his paralegal spoke to the Attorney General representative for approximately 10 minutes on April 17th. And he told the AG's office, this is what he claims, Masalamy, that he would not close on the deal without approval from the Attorney General. So he's saying, hey, I'm doing this. I'm giving you a heads up on it. I won't close on this property without you guys signing off on it. That's what he claims. And asked whether the Attorney General's office wanted to walk through or do its own appraisal. The closing was scheduled for April 30th. The Attorney General's office filed suit on April 24th. This is crazy, guys. Now it gets even weirder. Like, what? Rokita's office basically says Mario Masalamy is full of it. According to Abdul, quote, a spokesperson for Rokita previously told the Indiana lawyer that Masalamy, quote, never told the office he would hold the purchase until it was greenlit and accused him of, quote, attempting to cover his tracks. The complaint flags in footnote 2 that the OAG asked for the conflict of interest waivers between Third Phase and its attorney and that none had been produced. This is crazy. These are some of the most powerful Republicans in the state openly feuding with each other, telling completely different stories, and both basically saying the other side is full of it. Now, one more part to this. It's like a Jason Voorhees movie. Just when you think it's over, oh, there's something else. Now, Masalamy, we should point out, is not named as a defendant in the Rokita lawsuit. But he characterized this and what Rokita is doing as being politically motivated. Because Masalamy, back in 2024, was floated as a potential challenger to Todd Rokita for Attorney General, but did not file. Quote, in Abdul's piece, this is straight up a political vendetta, said Masalamy. And, last but not least, Mario Masalamy and Todd Rokita are two of Diego Morales' biggest supporters. You've got Masalamy appointing delegates to the state convention, and I haven't seen a one yet who isn't in Diego Morales' corner of the appointments that he has. This is a potentially massive story. Now, we'll see what comes of it. We'll see what comes of this Rokita lawsuit against Third Phase. We'll see now that the media is aware of it and has started digging what they come up with. And we'll keep you posted throughout the entire way. And by the way, this sort of story, at least when it comes to broadcasting, you're only going to get right here. And look, you got to have time to go into it. That's a very involved story. It potentially can have huge ramifications, but there's so many moving parts right now. Hey, guys, speaking of buying and selling and moving, don't leave your biggest investment to chance. Work with Lauren Wilson, a realtor who is Hoosier through and through. See, maybe they could have avoided all of this if they just worked with Lauren Wilson. That's the mistake they made. They didn't call Lauren Wilson with @properties. Call her for your next move. 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Lauren Wilson understands real estate is about big life changes. She gets that. Whether you're upgrading for your growing family or downsizing for retirement, Lauren provides a hands-on experience that takes the stress out of the process. She's all about clear communication and deep local roots. Lauren Wilson with @properties. 317-590-2290. All right. We got a ton of stuff to get to today. And I'm going to talk about when we come back. Now, let's do it now. I'll do it now. So there's an interesting article at The Hill about the Republicans and in the Senate and how they're handling Trump's proposal to suspend the gas tax versus how they handled Biden and his proposal to suspend the gas tax. So the Republicans, when Biden was the president, the Republicans in the Senate didn't want any part of suspending the gas tax. We're talking about the federal gas tax. Should probably remind everybody here. So you have, with the gas tax, you have 3 gas taxes in the state of Indiana. You have a gas tax that is an excise tax for the state of Indiana. You have a gas tax, which is a sales tax on gas. And you have a gas tax, which is the federal gas tax. 3 taxes on gas in the state of Indiana. And so what we're talking about here is the federal tax on gas, which is, I believe, is 18.4 cents per gallon. So the Republicans in the Senate in 2022, when Biden totally botched the whole Ukraine thing and allowed Putin to go into the Ukraine and the gas shot up, Biden proposed the idea of suspending the federal tax on gas. And the Republicans in the Senate didn't want any part of that at the time. Now, Trump, because of the price of gas going up in Indiana, under Trump, because of Iran, because of what's going on with Iran, Trump has proposed, let's suspend the gas tax. I think it's a big reason Braun suspended the gas tax here in the state of Indiana. He suspended that gas tax because they're trying to do everything they can to help Trump. They're getting, I would guess they're getting a lot of pressure. These governors are getting a lot of pressure from Trump to do whatever they can to get the price of gas down as much as they can. And so Trump has come out and said, I want the federal government to suspend the gas tax, the federal gas tax of 18.4 cents. By the way, collectively, you're looking at, when you add up all the gas taxes together, now it's changed. It's gone up quite a bit because the price of gas has skyrocketed. But last count, it was about 72, 73 cents a gallon. It's probably higher than that now. So the great thing that's coming out about all of this is that the federal government, the state government, they're essentially admitting how unnecessary the gas tax actually is. They're essentially admitting how unnecessary it is to have the gas tax. My issue with suspending the federal gas tax isn't getting rid of the taxes. It's that it won't be offset by spending cuts. That's what the federal government does. Anytime they cut taxes, they don't offset it with spending cuts. So you just get gas taxes cut, great, taxes cut, great, we pay less, fine. But then the spending keeps going at the same level. So then you end up with DAF, deficits are future taxes. Deficits are inflation. The money gets printed to make up for the revenue that isn't coming in. At the state level, hey, they got to find it somewhere else, either in the savings or cut spending or whatever, because they can't print money. So I'm all for that. Here, we're going to pay for it some other way through inflation. Future generations are going to pay for it. So Senator Josh Hawley, who is a Republican from Missouri, said he's going to introduce legislation to suspend the federal gas tax, which would save people 18.4 cents per gallon. Josh Hawley's a Republican from Missouri. However, back in 2022, Hawley said of Biden proposing to suspend the gas tax, this is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard of. He said, quote, I mean, what Joe Biden can do if he wants to have any effect on gas prices is to suspend and reverse his idiotic Green New Deal policies that are causing this crisis. So to Hawley in 2022, it was one of the dumbest things he'd ever heard of. Now, Senate Majority Leader John Thune, who initially was against suspending the gas tax, has now warmed up to it a little bit, said in 2022, what the administration, of course, is coming up with is yet another gimmick, another Band-Aid, and something they know is dead upon arrival here in Congress. Mike Lee from Utah on Monday replied to Hawley's gas tax suspension, according to The Hill, by saying on Twitter, quote, the federal gasoline tax was introduced to build the interstate highway system. That system is now built. We should now repeal the federal gasoline tax and let each state maintain its portion of interstate highway system with its own revenue, as was the plan from the beginning. The only problem? Here's what Lee said in 2022. Quote, if he just suspends the gas tax for a period of 3 months, first of all, he would end up extending the suspension before the midterms for the reasons you alluded to a minute ago. But even if it were just for 3 months, there's a lot of that revenue that still we want to have to pay for upkeep and maintenance of our interstate transportation network. In direct contrast, what he said 3 years ago to what he just said on Twitter. He gets worse. He goes on to say, our interstate system. So where's that money going to come from? We're just going to have to borrow more of it, effectively printing more of it. You know what that does? It spikes inflation even more. That's why this is treacherous. That's why this is wrong. We can't let it happen. These guys are on the record saying the exact opposite. Just 3 years ago. It's not like, oh, that's 15 years ago. I had some great epiphany. These guys are on the record saying the exact opposite of what they're saying today. The exact opposite. They're just shameless. Hey, if you want to be against, and in the case of Lee, he's giving specific reasons that are in direct contrast with each other. Not even the position itself, but the exact reason it needs to exist. It's all politics. It's all political. If you want to be for suspending the gas tax, that's great. I'm fine with that. Cut the spending. Lee's right. Lee was right. Was right. It will drive inflation. It will increase deficits. It will force people to pay higher taxes down the road. It will force future generations to pay for it. It will increase the price of everything. But that's not the position he had 3 years ago. It's all political. Everything these people do is political, both parties. Hey, guys, you got a leaky chimney, water in the basement, cracks around the exterior of your home. Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants is your authority for chimney repair, tuck pointing, foundation repair, crawl space to basement conversions, basement waterproofing, and more. Bramwell Mackay doesn't offer quick patches. Their team of 40-year master masons and industry experts address the root cause and provide solutions that last lifetimes. Your home is one of your biggest investments. Treat it that way. Bramwell Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY, your masonry, foundation, and chimney specialists. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we have so much stuff to get to today. The show is just flying by. There's new polling out on the president. And speaking of the president, he said something yesterday about the economy. I think this is going to not go well. I can't believe he said it. It's starting to get traction. We'll get into it when we come back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, a realtor with App Properties. Born and raised right here in Central Indiana and a Hoosier through and through. Selling your home is a massive undertaking, and I completely understand what that is. That's why when you work with me, we put a great plan together to make sure that when your home comes to the market, it is in the best light possible. Again, I'm Lauren Wilson, 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Let's put a plan together and get your home sold.
Welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. Thanks for being with us. Couple things you can do if you're new to the program, if you're just joining us. Thanks so much for joining us. Welcome. Like I said, 3 things we ask you to do. We call it like, we call it share, we call it subscribe. First of all, number 1 thing, hit that thumbs up button. Hit that little thumbs up button. That helps us so much. If you people are regulars and you haven't done it yet, let's get that done. Second thing you can do, share the feed. If you like what you're hearing today, if you like the sort of stories and stuff that you're not going to get anywhere else, share the feed. If you got a Facebook, if you got a Twitter, however you get information out to people, let people know, hey, there's this show, and they're doing Indiana news and politics and government unlike anybody else. And the third thing, if you haven't, subscribe to our channel. Hit the little subscribe button. Wherever you're listening from, I think sometimes we don't give enough love. We get tons of people because we're live on YouTube, but we get tons of people that listen to us on demand on Apple and Spotify. And so for those of you who are hearing us there, thank you. Thank you for being part of this with us. Thank you for helping us out and helping us grow. And we certainly appreciate that. And again, subscribe to the channel, whatever channel you're on. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Apple, you're on Spotify. If you're on Apple, give us that 5-star review. All of those things help us grow this program so darn much. And they may sound like little things, but they pay off big time in the end. So we call that like, we call it share, we call it subscribe. All right, so let's talk about something Trump said the other day. And, you know, one of the things about being a politician at any level, certainly the level of president of the United States, certainly the level of being the president of the United States, is you've got to be super cognizant about everything that comes out of your mouth. It's one of the reasons I got out of politics. I was really tired of having to, every time I did something, go, am I going to alienate somebody I need with that? Like, politics is all about coalition building. Whatever you're doing, you need people to go along with you. And the biggest people really that you need to go along with you are your constituents, the voters. They are the coalition that drives most decisions being made. And that's true at a local level. It's true at a county level. It's true at a state level. It's true at a national level. And it's really true with someone like Trump, who had such an unorthodox path to the presidency. Sort of a coalition of voters that hadn't been formed before. And when you build these unorthodox coalitions, you can't lose anybody from one of the coalitions. And so everything you do, and this is one of the frustrating things about Trump, is he hasn't done a very good job of keeping everybody united. Trump was so much different than the traditional, hey, all the Republicans voted for me and I won. Or, hey, all the Democrats voted for me and I won. The Trump coalition was about different pockets of people. Some of them who normally don't even vote, but certainly a lot of them may not vote Republican, coming over to vote for you. And one of the major reasons both times Trump won was people being disillusioned with the economy. Now, they were about different things going on in the economy. The things going on in 2016 that led to Trump's election are different from the things going on in 2026. 2016 was about jobs. It was about American exceptionalism. It was about building and manufacturing and doing things in America, putting American workers ahead of foreign workers. The economy now, the conversation about the price of everything. The conversation now is about being able to afford food. It's being able to afford living, period, right? Like, one of the things that I am super cognizant of now is there's a very strong likelihood this year I'm going to take a pay cut from what I had last year. As we've got this thing off the ground, we put money into it, we're building it. I'm happy to do it, but I'm cognizant that, hey, the money that I am making this year is not going to be the same I've made in the past couple years. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm willing to put money into this thing to grow it the way it needs grown. to do this for you guys. But I've tried to, save every penny I can at the stores in my personal life. And it's hard for me to do because I am about the cheapest, most frugal person alive already. Like pre-2026, as you guys know. It's really hard to save money, guys. Like, it's really hard. And the price of everything keeps going up. And it's not just the price of everything. It's the price of everything and the things you need to survive. I've tried to do things like, hey, how do I cut back on electrical costs? Hey, can I leave the temperature 1 degree higher? Can I turn these lights off during the day? Make sure everything's off when I don't need them. Now, I have a wife who works from home a lot, so I don't always get my way on that. But I try to do those things. And it's difficult. And so people are feeling the pain, especially middle-class people. Regular folks, and I know I'm talking to many of you right now, that's what our show's about. Hardworking people who feel like the government is leaving them behind, who feel like the government is working against them, who feel like the government is not doing the things necessary to give them an environment by which they can thrive. Most of you, all of you, I'm sure, for the most part, aren't looking for a handout from the government. You're looking for a climate where you can use your God-given talents and abilities to thrive, to move forward, to have a better life. All of those things, the government has some control over. You are ultimately in control of your own destiny, but the government has control in which an environment and the playing field you're operating on. And so Trump said something yesterday, and it came off as really tone deaf, especially given that he was elected to fix the economy. He was elected to get inflation under control. He was elected to get prices under control. And he said something yesterday. He was at an event. He was getting ready to leave, in fact, for China, which he is there now. He was getting ready to leave for China. He was in the Rose Garden. And he got asked about the Iran war's impact on the U.S. economy and the price of everything. And here's what he said. Quote, I don't think about American financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about one thing. We cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. Yikes. Yikes. By the way, The Independent has a big article on this if you want to read it for yourself. Guys, that comes off so bad. It comes off so tone deaf. It comes off so out of touch, one, with where the people he's supposed to be serving are, and two, it comes off very aloof and out of touch on why he was elected. Look, we've heard in this country before, so-and-so is just days away from acquiring a nuclear weapon. So-and-so will do anything to acquire a nuclear weapon. So-and-so is imminent that they will acquire a nuclear weapon. See the Iraq War. We've heard that song and dance before. And we paid a lot for going along with that doomsday scenario and letting our government do stupid stuff because of that imminent threat that never emerged 20 plus years ago. We lost trillions of dollars on that war, on the war on terror. We lost thousands and thousands of service members. Thousands and thousands of service members came back injured, mentally, physically. And for you to say when you were elected to fix the economy, quote, I don't think about American financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about one thing. We cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. That's going to piss a lot of people off. And so then it brings us to this article that Bloomberg had on inflation. And it's really bad, guys. And it's really bad in areas that are really necessary. Top of the list is power. Consumer prices climbed last month by the most in 3 years. That's the price of everything. It climbed by the most in 3 years last month. Electricity jumped 6.1% last month. 6.1%. Now, I mean, if we simplify this, and it's a complex thing, but if we simplify it, the way math would tell us is if your salary isn't rising the same as the cost of everything, you're losing buying power. Right? If your salary isn't rising by whatever the cost of something is, you've lost buying power relative to the cost of that thing. So did you get a 6.1% raise last month? If the answer is no, nationally across the country, and obviously it's a little different in every state, but across the country, the average American was not getting a 6.1% salary increase. And so they lost buying power. The overall consumer price index rose 3.8%, the most since May of 2023. Did you get a 3.8% raise last month? Probably not. Maybe some of you did. If you did, congratulations. I'm very happy for you. Be sure to give some of it support. Hit the support button at robkendallshow.com. We definitely welcome it. I mean, I think of myself, somebody looking at a decrease in income from one year to the next, coupled with inflation driving everything higher. That's a huge hit. And by the way, guys, I don't have any hobbies. This is my hobby. Oh, and I watch golf. That's it. That's basically what I do. Sports betting, golf, this. Like, I don't know how people who do things are making it work. Gasoline prices surged 5.4% last year. Which brings us to this CNN SSRS poll, in which 77% of respondents said Trump policies have driven up the cost of living. Now, guys, let's work through this logically. Do you think the average person is more inclined to vote for someone that they think has made their cost of living higher? Like, just logically, remove all names, remove all political parties. If I told you the overwhelming majority of people feel this candidate has made their cost of living more expensive, do you think the average person is going to vote for that guy or girl? No, they're not. And this is in response, and in response to this, Trump basically, and they've done this for a while now, and it is offensive to people when any politician does this. When any politician does this. In response to this, Trump and the Trump people are basically trying to say, if you question anything I'm doing with Iran, you want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. His response to this, here was the quote. Anybody that wants them to have a nuclear weapon is a stupid person. So you're insulting people who are like, hey, man, I'm kind of concerned about food and gas and electricity. I'd kind of like to be able to still live a middle-class life and, maybe take a vacation. I'd kind of like to, live a middle-class life, pay for my necessities, and, maybe once a week I go out with my buddies and play golf or whatever. Like, I don't think the average American is asking for some level of excess or grandiose. And for Trump to say anybody that wants them to have a nuclear weapon is a stupid person, as though if you question anything, you want them to have a nuclear weapon. Trump and his administration have not laid out anything that gives us definitive answers on why he went in now. What was the reason it had to happen now? What have you prevented by this pain that we are feeling in our economy? Like, if there was some video of the Ayatollah with a nuclear warhead pointed at the United States and in like some James Bond movie, his finger was moving down very slowly towards go, and the Trump invasion stopped it, okay. I haven't seen any of that. Have you guys? I mean, if you have, let me know in the YouTube chat. If I'm missing something, tell me. This certainly seems to many people like a war of choice, as in we chose to go in at this moment. There was not an imminent nuclear threat to the United States. And it certainly seems a war of choice related to appeasing Israel and the pro-Israeli lobby. Now, look, I can say that because, well, I'm not running for public office and AIPAC's not going to spend any money against me. But we have politicians that are petrified of the pro-Israeli lobby. And many of them, most of them now are housed in the Republican Party. And look, it doesn't make me an anti-Semite to say, I think we should put America before Israel. It doesn't make me an ist or a phobe or anything else to say, hey, we've got our problems and you've got yours. And I'm all for doing basic things to protect Israel. I don't have a problem with things like the Iron Dome. I don't have issues with something like that. But I do have an issue when we invade a foreign country without any clear plan to win, which we don't. I mean, we've been on this pause now for over a month. We had no plan going in there. Just like in see Iraq, which is hilarious because Trump for years was brutal to George W. Bush on Iraq. Now, essentially, we don't have any ground troops in there, unlike Iraq. We're not trying to nation build, but we are completely stuck. We're at a total impasse. Iran keeps calling our bluff. We don't follow through on whatever phrase Trump's using, wipe them off the map, blow them back to the Stone Age, whatever the deal is. The strait is essentially still shut down. Gas remains at near record levels. I mean, we've eliminated all those excessive gas taxes in Indiana, and gas is still at or just barely under $4 a gallon. The Iran thing has been a disaster if we're being remotely objective about this. The crazy people are still in charge. The Strait of Hormuz, which was open, is now closed. Things that were flowing freely now are not. And the response from the president is, if you go, hey, I'd like to know why we're doing this. I'd like to know why my gas is $4 a gallon. I'd like to know why everything is so expensive. Well, then you want Iran to have a nuclear weapon and you're stupid. Guys, remove the name Trump from the equation. If all the things I just described to you were Biden, how would you handle it? If everything that's going on right now in this country were the same but with Biden, how would you handle it? And if you're not handling it the same way with Trump, then you got to take a look in the mirror. We have to hold our politicians accountable, no matter what party. And Trump, he either doesn't get it or doesn't care about how angry people are, how frustrated people are with the price of everything. And he keeps doing things, whether it's these tariffs or these foreign entanglements or the spending, that keep making the key reason he was elected, it keep making it worse. And he seems totally insensitive to it. Totally aloof to it, totally out of touch with it. And it's going to hurt the Republicans in the midterm. Hey, guys, it's Wednesday. That means Double D's Barbecue. It's open Wednesday through Saturday. You know, owners Dennis and Tina Duncan, along with their son Garrett, they're from Memphis. And so that means when it comes to barbecue, not screwing around, guys. Authentic wood-smoked Memphis-style barbecue. Many of you have been. You have just said it's outstanding. The atmosphere, the service, the food, you guys have all been just applauding it, saying how great it was, saying what a great trip it was worth. Those guys are in Clayton. Double D's Southern Barbecue, Clayton. A little bit of a trip, totally worth it. You know, you guys got to be tired, right? Same thing all the time, over and over and over again. You got to take a little trip, right? Whether it's a Honeysuckle Hill Bistro in Brazil or Double D's Barbecue in Clayton. It's a little trip. It's right there near 40 and 39. And they're not screwing around, and they bring the receipts with Double D's. They have won both best ribs and best sauce at the Hendricks County Rib Fest. They do all their own food. All the food is made fresh daily. All their own sauces. Make all their own sauces. Everything's made from scratch. And by the way, starting next week, if you're like, man, I don't want to drive all the way to Clayton. Starting next week, Double D's is going to be a part of the Plainfield Farmers Market beginning, I think it's next Wednesday, and I'll be telling you more about that. So they're going to be out. They're going to be about Double D's Barbecue, Wednesday through Saturday. Open tonight, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Find more about them. Full menu, ribs, brisket, and more, so you know what you want when you show up. DDBBQ317.com, DDBBQ317.com. Okay, let's take a break. When we come back, our old pal, Jacob Stewart from Indy Star, he had a fascinating article about who he wants to be the next leader of the Senate and the changes he thinks that are going to happen. I disagree with every single part of this article, and I love Jacob Stewart, but I think he's wrong on a whole bunch of this. We'll talk about what new leadership in Indiana government might look like when we come back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Your bathroom fan could be secretly costing you thousands of dollars in damages. Most people don't even know this until the damage is done. With over 18 years of bathroom remodeling experience, here are 3 signs your fan is failing you without spending a dime on inspections. Sign number 1 is if you have foggy mirrors after you shower. This shows that your fan isn't pulling out enough moisture, which creates the perfect environment for mold. If you have a properly functioning bathroom fan that is the right size for your space, you shouldn't see much fogginess on your bathroom mirror at all. Sign number 2 is if you have bubbling, cracking, or peeling paint in your bathroom. This means moisture is soaking into your walls, slowly breaking down drywall, and even causing the wood framing behind it to rot. Sign number 3 is if you have mold buildup on your fan, ceilings, or walls. This is terrible for your health, but also could wreck your bathroom, costing you a fortune. If you're noticing any of these signs, here's what you can do.
Call Vent Savvy today at 317-300-4434. That's 317-300-4434, and mention Rob for a free attic inspection.
Welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. Thanks so much for joining us. A couple of reminders. If you haven't yet, get those tickets to the live show. June the 27th, Saturday. It's going to be a rockin' good evening. And we're going to bring the house down. Jason will be there. I'm going to have the one-man live show. We're going to make you laugh. We're going to roast some politicians. It's going to be an awesome evening. We had so much fun doing the last one, and it was so well attended. And we said, well, let's do it again. The Mad Hatter folks, Mad Hatter Comedy Club Event Center in Greenwood, they reached out. They said, hey, would you be interested in doing it again? And we said, yeah, but we're going to put some stipulations on it. We said it's going to be a celebration of you guys and a celebration of this show. And so we tried to make the tickets super affordable. We said every person who gets the VIP seats in the lower level going to get the meet and greet, and it's going to be a great evening. Mad Hatter Comedy Club Event Center, Saturday, June the 27th. Chance for all you guys to get together, to meet your friends, people you've been in the YouTube chat with. This great community. Let's do it all. June the 27th. Join us. You can get your tickets over at robkendallshow.com. robkendallshow.com. And we look forward to seeing you then. If you haven't done so yet, hit that thumbs up button. We're a little two-man operation here, guys. We need you to participate with us. We can't do this without you helping us. And as a part of that, we need you to do these little basic things that we talk about that help us grow the program. And one of those is hit that thumbs up button, share the feed as well. All of those things can really help us grow Rob Kendall Show. So one of the things that's going on now is there's a lot of debate in Indiana about who's going to be the next leader, especially in the Senate. Now, here's what's fascinating to me. There were all of these Senate races that were hotly contested. Right now, Trump at Turning Point got 6 of the 8 they went after. Could change with the Spencer Deary race. We'll know more later today. There's another hearing on provisional ballots. Right now, he's up 2 votes against Paula Copenhaver. That's wild, isn't it? Like 13,000 votes or something close to that. And it goes down to 2 votes. Hey, great example of how your vote, especially in these local races, it do count. But now there's this conversation about it's time for new leadership in the Senate. We got to get somebody new. This is getting Rod Bray out of there. And we won these 6 races, and we're going to get Rod Bray out of there. Who's the next person to lead the Senate? Who's the next person to drive the agenda? First of all, one of the things that's fascinating to me is the free pass the House of Representatives gets. As though the House of Representatives is some sort of bastion of like liberty and freedom and pro-taxpayer greatness. Like, let's just use the property tax bill as an example, shall we? Because they said, well, Holdman went down because he was part of the group that gutted Braun's property tax proposal in the Senate. True. That's absolutely true. But that bill then went over to the House of Representatives, and the bill the House sent back to the Senate looked nothing like the bill the Senate put forward. In fact, it was worse. The bill Jeff Thompson put forward was awful. You guys remember at the time how I described this bill watching that hearing. Jeff Thompson trying to describe this bill to his colleagues, the head of Ways and Means, who just took everything the Senate did and then said, oh, no, here's a new bill. But that bill was never debated or discussed in the House. Yeah, but it's a new bill. We got it now. This is the new bill. I said him describing that bill was as though you took a man from China who speaks no English, put him on a boat, sent him over to America, had him take LSD, and then had him go in and try to describe a property tax bill. It was the biggest bunch of nonsensical gobbledygook I've ever heard. It was ridiculous. And the Thompson bill from the House ultimately became the property tax bill. If you hate the property tax bill, which most of people in Indiana do, it's not the Senate bill that became the law, it's the House bill. And yet, for some reason, we act as though, well, we flipped all these senators. We're going to fix bad Indiana government. That was the selling point. It takes 2 branches of government to pass a bill in Indiana, just like in the federal government, the House and the Senate. All of these things that everyone's pissed off about, the House has been on board with. The House has voted for. The House has signed off on. Why do we think because 6 Senate seats flipped that suddenly the House of Representatives is going to be like, oh, we get it now, man. Yeah, you guys are right. Oops. The House got a free pass, not because they're good at government, but because the House voted for redistricting. That's it. I mean, I talked about how the priorities for the House. Look at this. Andrew Ireland. You want to look up big giant fraudster in the dictionary, there should be a picture of this guy. Because he talks a real Billy Badass routine on social media. What's his actual voting record? His actual voting record is repeatedly what the rest of the House does, including he voted for the budget last year, which raised taxes by $1 billion. Andrew Ireland, he's an Indianapolis state rep. Most of you know this. He's a great example of someone who says all the things on social media and then does mostly the opposite in his votes because he knows most of you won't pay attention to his votes. He goes to the White House the other day. I guess he was there for the IU football presentation. Look, and again, I have no idea why these Indiana politicians are going to the White House, especially a bunch of Indiana politicians who so disliked Indiana, they gave the governor essentially unlimited authority to totally change how IU was governed. But they're all there for the photo op, aren't they? They're all there to leech on. What? Pardon my asking this, and maybe there's a logical answer. What the hell does Marlon Stutzman, who's a U.S. rep from Fort Wayne, have to do with IU? Did Marlon go to IU? If he did, let me know. I'm sorry. I didn't know that. But all of these politicians who were there leeching on to IU at the White House. So I guess that's why Andrew Ireland was there. And he posts this photo, and he's like, something like, big meeting at the White House talking closed primaries. You got a meeting with the White House and you talked about closed primaries? Like, all the issues facing Hoosiers that they're hurting from? Pick your favorite one. There's an infinite buffet to choose. And you chose closed primaries? You think that's the most pressing issue in Indiana? My point of all of this is, it is naive and foolish to think because 6 Senate races, of which you actually have no idea what these people's views are on most things because they weren't held to any sort of account. They weren't held to any sort of obligation. Now we're led to believe that suddenly, the government's going to change? But so many people are fired up about getting rid of Rod Bray. And look, I would be fired up about getting rid of Rod Bray too, except all the people who are the favorites to take his place are Rod Bray acolytes. They're part of Rod Bray's leadership team. They're higher-ups in the Senate under Rod Bray, which means they have Rod Bray's stamp of approval. It's the same thing we just went through with Mitch McConnell, where everybody was like, oh, I can't wait to get rid of McConnell. It's all going to change now. Oh, that decrepit, delusional old turtle's out of there. Well, right. But look at who they put in his place. John Thune. A creature of the Senate, a creature of Washington, a person who had done enough things that appeased Mitch McConnell and Mitch McConnell's top people that they elevated Thune up Senate leadership. Well, not much has been all that different under Thune. Why would you think it would be? You have a track record of a guy, people who elevate themselves up the rungs of Senate leadership don't get there by being for you. They get there by being for the institution. They get there by being for the government, for the party. The people who are for you, they get tens of millions of dollars spent against them in a primary like Thomas Massey. And so our old pal Jacob Stewart, and I love Jacob Stewart. He's a good friend of mine. But just because somebody's a good friend of mine doesn't mean that I'm going to say when they write something I disagree with that I'm going to be like, oh, this was spot on. So Jacob Stewart wrote an article, and I think it's a fun conversation to have. It's a worthy conversation to have about how excited he is. And by the way, Jacob Stewart is the deputy editor at the Indy Star. Jacob Stewart is very valuable to us on this show because he's the guy who prompts me and asks me to write columns for the Star. So we like Stewart. We liked him before I was writing over at the Star, but I'm not saying this in any way to say, look, reasonable people can disagree, right? That's the fun of having the conversation. But he's the deputy editor at Indy Star, and he has a new column out basically saying how excited he is at the potential that Chris Garton might become the new leader of the Senate, the new boss of the Senate, the new Senate pro tempore, and we're going to be done with Rod Bray. Now, look, full disclosure, and Stewart's very upfront about this, Stewart used to work for Garton when Stewart worked in the Senate. And he doesn't hide this, and I just think we need to put that out there as well, that Stewart is basically a total homer on this. What I'm about to read you, he's basically a total homer. But first of all, Garton, so he is from Charleston, is currently the majority leader in the Senate. That basically, we'll have to ask Merritt about this. We're taking the State House happening today. I think that makes him the number 3 Republican. He's a part of Bray's leadership team. Why would anyone think that Rod Bray would put someone in leadership or allow someone to be in leadership that's any different from him. And look, I get it. Garton gave this great, if you're for redistricting, this Mr. Smith goes to Washington type of speech on redistricting before the vote. If you were for that, it was great. It was very passionate. Very passionate. Of course, he wasn't giving that sort of speech for property taxes or utility bills or against tolling or cleaning up corruption at the IEDC, things that might actually help you. But he did give it on redistricting, and then everybody fell in love with Garton. But on everything else other than redistricting that people claim to hate about Bray, which was the premise of, we've got to get Bray out of there. He's ruining everything. Garton has basically been in lockstep with Bray. If you look at Bray's voting record and compare it to Garton's, you'll find they're almost identical. He's been in lockstep. Garton has been in lockstep with the Senate leadership that all these people claim to hate. You have to with these people, whether it's fraudsters like Andrew Ireland or someone like Garton, who's got everybody all wowed and revved up and everything else. And he knew what he was doing when he gave that speech. He knew that speech was going to get him a lot of attention, a lot of national attention. Why did he give the speech on property taxes? Because he knew a speech on property taxes wouldn't get him the attention of Trump or national Republicans. It would help you. It would help you, but these people don't give a damn about helping you. He gave it on redistricting because it got him hits and clicks and everything else on Twitter, and all the Turning Point bros love him and think he's great. According to Stewart, in this column he wrote about cheering for Garton to get the position leading the Senate, Bray described Garton as, quote, highly capable and passionate leader, and a, quote, problem solver who is dedicated to public service. You think Rod Bray would say that about someone like me? Do you think Rod Bray would be heaping praise on someone like me who would be an actual disruptor, who would cause headaches, who would turn the whole Senate upside down, who would be the exact opposite of what Bray has stood for and represented in the Senate? Hell no. Of course he wouldn't. Rod Bray said that because Garton, for the most part, has been totally on board with all the things Bray has been about. This is exactly what we just went through with McConnell. Until we realize that the institution itself is the problem, the system itself is the problem. The whole collective government and the system of governance is the problem, and the people that make up the entire body are the problem. We're just going to keep repeating this over and over again. Yet we're a society, and I was guilty of this for a long time, guys. I'm recovering myself on this. We're a society, especially as our politicians, we fall in love with people. We become enamored with people. Oh, if just so-and-so were in there, it'd be so much better. Now, look, at a very local level, like a town or city council or a county commissioner maybe, or a sheer will or cult of personality or whatever, engaging a small amount of voters can make a huge difference. That might be true. You might be able to make meaningful change with one person. But in terms of something like state government or the federal government, no. It's why I ultimately didn't run for Senate, because I looked into the abyss of what it looks like to win and be the only guy in there and be absolutely hated by everyone. Now, I'm fine with being hated, but when you're hated amongst your colleagues, you can't accomplish anything. When you're hated by your colleagues, when they despise you, whether it's because you're just an ass or you expose the corruption or you expose the bad votes or whatever reason, you get put in a corner. You get kicked out of the caucus. You don't elevate to leadership by being a rebel, by fighting the system. Look, I love Jim Merritt. Jim Merritt and I are very close. Jim Merritt was as establishment as you come. That's how he elevated to years as being the number 2, the caucus leader in the Republican Senate. Because Jim Merritt was a reliable vote for the caucus. Look at who the caucus leaders have been. It was David Long. David Long was a wealthy, very connected attorney. It was Bosman, it was Long, the leadership in the General Assembly for years. After Bob Garton, who was there forever. Bosman in the House, Long in the Senate. And then Long leaves, an institutionalist, establishment. Who'd they go with? They went with Bray. Why? Because that's who elevates up leadership. Next man up type of deal. If you're thinking that because Chris Garton gets in there, that suddenly everything's going to operate different in the Senate, no. Who leads the House? Todd Huston. What is Todd Huston? A wealthy Fisher's attorney. What was Brian Bosma? A wealthy attorney. What's Rod Bray? A wealthy attorney. Are you, sensing a trend here, guys? We have to stop having this naivety that someone who is in leadership. Now, look, if you were like, hey, Rand Paul's going to lead the Senate now. Okay, now I'm optimistic. But that's not happening. Who leads the Senate? It's John Thune. Who was it before that? Mitch McConnell. Look at the history of leadership. Look at on the Democrat side. They got their own issues. It's Schumer. It's not the Bernie Sanders type of people, on the total polar opposite end of the spectrum. It's not how it works, guys. The institution elevates people that are for the institution. Chris Garton, he talks a good game. I mean, he's great at selling the people that he's somehow not responsible for his own votes. I mean, he's been all over this Medicaid stuff, which I think Stewart mentions in the article, the Medicaid reform. Great. You know who caused the Medicaid crisis? People like Chris Garton. Garton and his buddies and Bray and his friends who did nothing as Holcomb threw all these people in the Medicaid rolls that had no business being there. And there was all sorts of, now we're finding, fraud and abuse and manipulation of the system. Oh, I'm supposed to be excited that the guy who helped cause the problem now tells me he's going to fix the problem and he's super passionate about years later. And by the way, he's only fixing it because Indiana's out of money. That system is broke beyond broke. If you're telling me I have to be excited about that, or I think that person is somehow going to change Indiana government for the better, you're dreaming. You're dreaming. I'm not buying into it. Hey, guys, do me a favor when you go home today. It just takes a couple quick minutes, and it potentially may save you guys a whole bunch of money. Go into your bathroom and look at the ceiling above your shower. Like, seriously, look above. Look for staining, look for peeling paint, or look for a fan that sounds like a lawnmower and barely moves. Any air at all. If your mirror's staying fogged up after a shower, that fan isn't doing its job. And if it's not working, that moisture is going somewhere, usually into your ceiling or attic. That's exactly where Vent Savvy comes in. Guys, take a look at all that stuff. If you see any of that, go to ventsavvy.com. VENTSAVVY.com and find out if your fan is actually doing its job. Guys, this can just take you a couple of minutes and it can end up saving you so much money. If there's something small going on, get it now. Get it fixed today. Vent Savvy, VENTSAVVY.com. All right, let's take a quick pause. When we come back, we're going to talk about, I'm going to surprise you with what we're going to talk about. I think you're going to love it. I think you're going to find it super interesting. But if you don't, then you'd leave if I teased it and you didn't like it. See what we're doing there? You know you'll like it. You like everything we do, or at least probably like 90% of it. And what else are you going to do anyway? Take a break. We'll be back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, a realtor with Properties. Born and raised right here in central Indiana and a Hoosier through and through. Selling your home is a massive undertaking, and I completely understand what that is. That's why when you work with me, we put a great plan together to make sure that when your home comes to the market, it is in the best light possible. Again, I'm Lauren Wilson, 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Let's put a plan together and get your home sold.
Hey guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. Got to talk about what Ted Cruz said about AOC. It's hilarious. It's also totally hypocritical. And so we'll tell you about that in just a second. But first, before we do, hey, if you're buying a home or thinking about refinancing, work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps home buyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple: clear advice and personalized guidance so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes, loansbygary.homes, or call 317-695-5179 to get started today. 317-695-5179 to get started today. You got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. Call for a free, no-hassle, no-obligation quote. 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, in MLS, number 179207 with Verity Mortgage. In MLS, number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender. Before we get to the stuff about Ted Cruz and AOC, I started off early on the show today that, I wrote this article for Indy Star. It's in an opinion column today. It's out at Indy Star, talking about the pitfalls of the Republicans nominating Diego Morales for Secretary of State and how they appear like that is going to happen, even though there's these obvious things waiting to smack Republicans right in the face. Like there's these just obvious things that are gonna potentially transpire if you go with Diego that wouldn't happen if you go with anyone else. By the way, some people have asked about Jamie Ritenour, who is supposedly running for Secretary of State. Why haven't we interviewed her? Has she paid her filing fee yet? This is the thing I keep asking her supporters. I don't think she's paid the filing fee. I'm not interviewing someone who I don't think is going to be at the convention. If Jamie Ritenour, if somebody could show me Jamie Ritenour has paid the filing fee to run for Secretary of State, because I went through her social media. Like normally when people file, you can, the big day of, I have officially filed to run for Secretary of State. For those of you who don't know, on the Republican side, because their convention is just a giant money grab. That's why, did you know if you're elected a delegate, you have to pay a fee to the Republican Party to go to convention? Did you know that? That if you are a delegate to the Republican convention, you have to pay a fee to be a delegate. I don't know what it is now, $150 or whatever. It's one of the reasons I will never run for delegate again. I refuse to give the state Republican Party any of my money. But you also have to pay in order to run for the office, the statewide offices, whether it's treasurer, comptroller, attorney general, lieutenant governor, secretary of state. Those are the 5, I think, right? Any of those 5, you have to pay a filing fee in order to run. And the filing fee is 10% of whatever the office you're seeking pays. And that money goes directly to the party. Now, I'm not saying I agree with this. I think that's a scam, a giant scam. I'm totally against it. But I don't make the rules. And the rules of the Republican Party are you have to pay 10% of whatever the office pays. Whatever the yearly salary of that office is, you have to pay 10%. So whatever that is for Secretary of State, $18,000 or something like that. And I've seen nothing where Jamie Ritenour, I believe May 21st is the filing deadline. You have until May 21st to pay your fee. Blythe Potter has filed now the Democrats do theirs a little different, but Blythe Potter has filed on the Democrat side. Bowe By has filed on the Democrat side. Lori Schillings has been nominated by the Libertarians. Greg Ballard is actively paying people to go out and get signatures. He raised $300,000. He's actively getting signatures. David Shelton has filed, paid his fee. Diego Morales has filed, paid his fee. I've interviewed all of those people. They're like legitimate candidates for Secretary of State. I've not interviewed Diego. I have invited Diego. He has not accepted my invitation. But people keep asking, like, why won't you interview Jamie Ritenour? If someone can show me some proof she has filed and paid her fee, I will interview her. But I have not seen any proof. I tried to look through her social media. I thought maybe I missed it. You know, normally when candidates do that, they put out a big press release. They put out a big thing. So to answer the people who have asked that, I am not interviewing her until I can see proof or offering her a chance to be interviewed. She has paid the filing fee and filed to run for Secretary of State. If someone could show that to me, I will do that. Anyway, so I wrote this article in the Indy Star about what a fall will, I think, likely look like. I don't think there's any stretch in this opinion piece. Like, there's nothing where you go, that would never happen. You know, somebody might say, I don't think that'll happen because A, B, and C, and that's okay. But I don't think there's any person who will read that article at Indy Star and go, man, he's totally out of bounds on that. He just totally exaggerated. He just made that up. There's no way that's going to happen. I think the scenario I laid out, in which in that article I lay out, I think Greg Ballard will get, provided he gets on the ballot, and I was very clear about that I think he will do that, but the premise is he's on the ballot, and Diego's the nominee, and it's By for the Democrats, that I think Greg Ballard will blow past the 10% necessary for primary ballot access for the Lincoln Party. And I think Ballard will pull enough votes from Morales that By will win the race without getting 50% of the vote. I think there's a very real 43, 40, 15 type of scenario in the state where Diego loses and the Republicans lose the seat. And the crazy thing is, and I think the Ballard people, if you like hooked them up to a truth serum, and I think the By people, if you could get them to be honest with you as well, will tell you if Shelton was the nominee, it throws everybody's game plan totally out the window. If David Shelton is the nominee, and David Shelton would be a boring, quiet, competent nominee, just like Daniel Elliott is a boring, quiet, competent nominee for treasurer. The Republicans win the race. Ballard probably would get the 2% necessary to get ballot access, but he wouldn't get the 10 necessary for the primary. And that's what they're going for, guys. That's what they're really craving, is the 10%, because that's a game changer of all game changers. By probably becomes, even if he gets that 40% of the vote, 42%, probably loses to Shelton. Shelton probably ends up with somewhere between 46, 48% of the vote, right? Again, you may say a thing where somebody doesn't get to 50% but still wins. So my point in all of this is the Republicans, and when you talk to delegates, like the people will be honest with you, they're worried about this. And yet, the Republican Party seems set on going forward with Diego. And so, I wrote this column about this, and I was thinking about it as I was writing the column. And then, I'm watching my daughter. I took her to the playground last night, and I'm watching her play. And there are several playgrounds around where we live. We had not been to this playground. We call it the baby playground. It's designed for kids in the school system's pre-K learning. So it's really kids like 3 to 5 years old is who this playground is built for. And like last year, my daughter is still 2. She'll be 3 soon. But last year, so it's been probably 6 months since we've been out there. And I remember last fall when she was playing out there, a lot of the toys were still too big for her. She couldn't totally figure them out. She was getting it. She knew some of them. She was able to do some of them on their own. But there are nets and things that you climb up, and she just couldn't do it yet. And I remember watching that and thinking, man, it's going to be cool to see her next spring, how far she comes in 5 or 6 months. The next time we come out here, it'll be cool to see how well she does, to see how much she's progressed. This is something I can look at in every toy that she tries to play with. I'll be able to see, did she get it more than she got it last year and by how much more? And last night we went out there for the first time, and I'm cognizant of this, right? I'm watching this. And she's able to do all of these toys now. She can climb up the ropes. She can go down the ropes. She can turn the little magnifying glass around. She knows to do it and look through it. She knows how to get up on the large balls. She knows how to do the swing on her own. She knows there's musical instruments there that she knows. She doesn't play them well, but she knows what they are and she knows how to play them. Like all the optimism that I had, like last fall, even though she wasn't getting some of them or was struggling with them, I knew it's like, okay, my optimism is I can't wait to see what it's going to look like to see her play on those toys next spring. And now I got to, and it was super cool yesterday. I had optimism last fall, even though my kid was struggling on things. It's like, okay, she's progressing in a way a 2-year-old would progress. She's going to be able to get these things that are designed for kids 3 to 5, and now she's a whiz on them. I had optimism last year, even though a struggle was going on. As I was writing that piece about Diego, I was thinking, man, not only is the Republican Party in Indiana so bad, there's no optimism it's going to be any better. That's what's frustrating. With Livy on the playground, yeah, she was struggling, but you would smile and you would help her and you would say, it's going to be better. It's going to be great. Hitting all her benchmarks. She's doing great. That's going to be cool to watch her do this next year. And I wrote about it last night in that daily journal that I keep about how great that was to be able to see that. With the Republicans, they're bad and there's no optimism. They're going to nominate this piece of human sludge, Diego Morales. Everybody knows what he is that's in the know, right? There's some delegates in the far-flung corners of our state who don't know. But I guarantee you, we talked about earlier about how Mario Masalamy, the Hamilton County GOP chairman, I guarantee you he knows exactly what Diego is. Jim Banks knows exactly what Diego is. Todd Rokita knows exactly what Diego is. And we're staring down a party that knows that party that's supposed to be about the people. They're supposed to be of the people. They're supposed to be the party of low taxes and limited government and getting out of the way so the people can thrive. And they know exactly what this guy is. And they're all in on it with him. Why? It has to be money. It's the only logical reason. It's not like Diego's wowing them with his charm or charisma or strong handling of the English language. It's money. It's dirty, rotten money. That's it. Nobody looks at Diego and goes, he's done a hell of a job in there. Everything. I'm talking about the basic functions of the office are a dumpster fire. Look at how he screwed up the campaign filings this year. everything about this guy is a dumpster fire because he doesn't care about anybody but himself, and everybody knows it. And so I'm thinking about this, like as I'm writing this article, what is there to be optimistic about with Indiana Republicans when that's the person they prop up? It's like we go back to this article about Jacob Stewart wrote about Garton. Why would I be optimistic? Okay, you got rid of one idiot in Bray. Why would I be optimistic that his lieutenant idiot goes in there and I think, oh, it's going to be different now? Why would I think that just because some senators lost their reelection when I've got an entire House of Representatives and still the majority of the Senate that are the rank and file establishment ass clowns, why would I think anything's going to change? Why would I think anything's going to get any better? Optimism is a huge part of getting involved in politics, of engaging in politics. And I'll tell you what, something that will bring people optimism, I'm telling you this right now. And even this is one thing, these people who hate me, they know how often I'm right about this because I'm in touch with you and I'm in touch with the people. It's why our ratings were so great all those years, because I know you and you know me and we connect. And I say things and I say how you feel. I'll tell you what will bring people optimism and hope is the Ballard campaign. You know why? Because it'll be different. The two sides that are going to have optimism and hope in the fall are going to be the Democrats, because it's a Democrat year, and they're going to have a viable chance for the first time in 14 years to win with By. Now, it doesn't mean Democrats are going to win a bunch of races across the state and reclaim the state house. I'm not saying that by any stretch of the imagination. I am saying, though, you're going to see Democrats exceed previous standards across the board. Races that are going to be closer than they've been before. And there's a very real chance you're going to see Democrats pick up seats in the House and the Senate. Maybe, I don't know for sure, but maybe break those supermajorities. And you're going to see Bowe By potentially win this race. If you're the independent thinker, you have optimism. If you're that person in the middle, it's like, I hate both these sides equally. You have optimism because you have a guy who legitimately has a chance to make news in Ballard. You're fired up because you're like, crap. Finally, we've got a chance to break up this cabal if this guy can get some votes. Your standard's not winning. You don't think he's going to win if you're being honest with yourself. I don't think there's any reasonable person who says, I think Greg Ballard's going to be the next Secretary of State. But any honest person would say Greg Ballard has a chance to become an incredibly important figure in Indiana history and change forever how our parties function and how we elect people going forward. That's way bigger than any one public office. You know, the side who doesn't have the optimism, if they're being honest with you, are the Republicans. Because they're going to carry water for Diego, the rank and file. They'll do the lie. They'll lie to themselves and they'll lie to the public and they'll go through the motions. But it's really hard to get behind somebody when you don't believe in them. When you don't believe there's going to be a change. When you don't believe there's going to be a difference. When you know what the status quo is and you're going to get more of it. You can lie to the public, but it's pretty hard to fool yourself day in and day out. All right, before we get to this thing with Cruz and AOC, which is hilarious and tragic at the same time, is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salts, environmental buildup like dirt and mold. They can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. They're the clean, seal, and stain professionals. They can help you protect your surfaces. They are outdoor surfaces. They do it all. Decorative concrete patios, including stamped concrete, exposed aggregate concrete, sealing, concrete staining to add color with protection. Guys, it's all across the board. If you need a patio or a sidewalk or a driveway that needs brought back to life, Seal Now, they're your guys. But, of course, they do more than just concrete. They do decks. They do fences. They do pergolas. Any exterior concrete or wood outdoor structure that needs cleaned or maintained, Seal Now, they're your guys. Here's what you do. You call today, 317-548-2002. 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. SEALNOW.com. Not only are you going to get a free estimate, but mention you heard about them on Seal Now, the Rob Kendall Show. Mention you heard Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show, And they're going to take an incredible 20% off any long-term ceiling project. 20% off any long-term ceiling project. Seal now. SEALNOW.com. Tell them you heard about him on the Rob Kendall Show. All right. This Ted Cruz AOC stuff is great. And by great, I mean just the worst. And it comes back to the hypocrisy of all of these people. So Ted Cruz was on some TV show. I forget the name of the show he's on. He was on some show. And, it was Fox News. He was on Fox News. He was on with Hannity. And Ted Cruz on Monday called Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, a parasite sucking on the taxpayer. A parasite sucking on the taxpayer. And I heard that and I said, well, hard to get angry at that. He's not wrong. Now, this was in response to, as usual, AOC was talking, and so she was sounding like a complete moron, that Americans, quote, can't earn to become billionaires. Here's what Cruz said. Here's the quote, according to The Hill. Quote, I recognize for her, given that she was a bartender, and that is probably true, and there is no disrespect to bartenders. By the way, if you say no disrespect, you're disrespecting. Right? No disrespect, but you're disrespecting. Quote, bartenders are an honorable profession. If you got to say something's an honorable profession, you're disrespecting it, and you probably don't think it's an honorable profession. And by the way, the Republicans have made a major mistake over the years doing this with AOC. The whole bartender gig, that alienates a lot of people. It pisses off a lot of people. I've been a bartender. It's hard work. I loved it. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed doing it. But you're on your feet. Jason will back me up on this. You know, he's been a bartender for years. You're on your feet 7, 8, 9 hours. You're gassed, man. And you got to continually, if you got to be on your game. You got to move quick. You got to be kind to people. You got to engage in people with conversation. It's an exhausting gig, man. Like, the whole she's just a bartender deal. I can't tell you the amount of people that I've heard over the years that have been like, that really pissed me off when I heard that. And I was like, yeah, I get it. But anyway, he goes on to say, but she went from being a government employee, she went from that to being a government employee and a parasite sucking on the taxpayer. Okay, well, let's get into this, shall we? And by the way, before we do that, this is in response. AOC was on a podcast. Alania Glazer has a podcast. She's a news commentator, et cetera. If you're on the left, people know who she is. That in which AOC essentially said it is impossible for people to earn their way into being a billionaire. They've got to cut corners. She said, quote, you can't earn $1 billion. You just can't earn that. You can get market power. You can break rules. You can do all sorts of things. You can abuse labor laws. You can pay people less than what they're worth, but you can't earn that, right? Okay. So you can earn $1 billion. People have become billionaires. They've become very wealthy, legally. Now, look, do these billionaires, the Zuckerbergs, the Bezos, the Musk, do they have armies of attorneys and lobbyists and things like that help them get ahead? Absolutely. So from that standpoint, like, I understand what she's saying, but you can earn $1 billion. These people did earn $1 billion. You know, by all accounts, Zuckerberg, Bezos, Musk, they're not in prison the last I checked. They're not, in federal prison. They did earn their money. Most of their money, of course, their wealth is on paper. I get what she's saying. She sounds ridiculous the way she's saying it. I get what she's trying to get at, though. But let's come back to Cruz and what he said. But she went from being a bartender. She went from that describing a bartender, to being a government employee and a parasite sucking on the taxpayer. Okay. Well, Ted Cruz, you're a government employee. And if we're going to talk about people who have taken the most from the taxpayers, the Republicans, because what Republicans do is they'll, quote unquote, cut taxes for their buddies, but then they don't cut the spending. And when you cut revenue, but you don't cut spending, that creates deficits. And deficits are future taxes. And deficits mean that somebody else down the road, the national debt, somebody else is going to have to pay for that. So, Ted Cruz, you're a parasite. Your party is a parasite to the taxpayers. You're a government employee. And at least the Democrats want to tax people to pay for most of their stuff. At least they want to take it from us now. You, the Republicans, are professional dine and dashers. You run up the tab and you go, oh, well, didn't bring my wallet. Somebody else better pay for that. See ya. Like, this is so offensive to me to act like AOC is some ridiculous, radical whatever. I mean, she is. But the Republicans have done the exact same thing, and Ted Cruz has voted for most of it. Ted Cruz has voted for most of it. This is one of these times where multiple things can be true. AOC is a moron. AOC is a parasite. AOC is sucking the taxpayers dry. But so is Ted Cruz. So are the Republicans. Now, what AOC said was so ridiculous that even the Washington Post, by no means a friend of the Republicans or conservatives, even acknowledged she's an idiot. She said, quote, to say that it's impossible to legitimately earn $1 billion is to put arbitrary limit on human potential. And presuming that anyone who becomes too successful must be cheating shows a lack of imagination as to what humans are capable of accomplishing in a free society. Bingo. It's a very good way to word that. Now, again, we have major issues with the tax code. We have major issues with the tax codes at a state level, at a federal level, being written to benefit, to support the tippy-top people at the expense of everyone else. We can admit the system is rigged in favor of the rich. It is. It doesn't make it illegal. I mean, if you're playing in the confines of the law, good for you. Every single one of us should take every applicable deduction afforded to us by law. Every single one of us. You, me, the billionaire, everybody. If we don't, we're idiots. Why would you willingly give the government more of your money? One of the things I'm excited about is I'm a business owner. I can have deductions again that I didn't have before. I pay an accountant. I say, Mr. Accountant Man, here is all my information. You tell me what I owe. And throughout the course of the year, I engage in a conversation with him about, can I do this? Can I do this? Should I do this? Should I do this? You know, what are the rules? What are the laws? I want to stay well within the boundaries of all applicable tax codes and regulations. But every single one of us shouldn't feel bad about taking every deduction or write-off or break afforded to you. And yes, rich people, because they give the money to the politicians, are able to rig the system in favor of them. That's on us, though. We keep voting for the politicians who allow the rigged system. It's why I'm for getting money out of the system. If you took the money out of the system would change. But we also have to admit, if we're going to admit AOC's a moron and an idiot and just spouts and spews ridiculous stuff, we have to also admit that Ted Cruz and the Republicans are every bit the drain on the taxpayers and future generations as the Democrats, probably even worse, because the Republicans don't want to pay for their stuff. The Democrats at least want to pay for more of it than the Republicans in the here and now. All of these people are awful. All of these people are bad guys. Every single one of them, for the most part. Maybe there's a handful in the entire U.S. Congress where you go, that person has my back. That person's for me. I mean, look at the Grangios. Look at right here in Indiana. I'll just take two examples, two of the best examples. Jefferson Shreve's net worth, the congressman from the eastern part of our state, is hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. He might even be a billionaire. He's made a fortune in his life. What's the first thing that happens when he gets into Washington? He gets embroiled in a potential stock scandal. The first thing he makes headlines on is about buying and selling stocks as a congressman. It's not even about needing the money. They do it because they can. They do it because it's power and it's thumbing their nose at people. And if you're a Shreve and you're a gajillionaire and you essentially bought a congressional seat, I mean, think about it. Shreve lied to everyone. Oh, I'm running for mayor of Indianapolis. That's the only office I want. That's the only office I'm going for. That's the only thing I want to be. And then he turns right around and runs for Congress, and he's probably like, you dopes voted for me. I had a radically left anti-2A gun policy, and then I go out and tout about how pro-gun I am. I lie to everyone, look them right in the eye and say, I only want to be the mayor, and then I run for this other office. And you suckers, you stupid sons of bitches voted for me. Why would he not get creative? That's how we'll describe it. Get creative with trading stocks. What are you going to do to him? You voted for him. Oh, and by the way, you guys just reelected him. Why would you think he would care about you at all? Because clearly he has no decency based on the fact that he lied to run for the office to begin with. I think that camera's going to go off. I'm also tech support in addition to being the host of this show. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. I'm very keen. I can partially see myself, so I know when it's about to go. Let's look at Jim Baird. Let's go to the complete other side of the state. We did the East. Let's do the West. Jim Baird knows we're $39 trillion in debt, and yet he wastes how much money every year on seemingly unlimited franked mail, taxpayer-funded, legalized campaign propaganda sent to my house and your house if you live in that district. How many thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars does this guy spend on nothing? It's nothing. It's campaign propaganda. There's nothing in there that's of any value to anyone. Why does he do it? Because the idiots of my district keep voting for him over and over and over again. Now, part of it is they don't get the competition. I mean, this year it was like, okay, you got Baird who's awful or Haggard who's awful. Now, I voted for Piper. Obviously, Piper did very well per vote, spent markedly less than those two clowns, but didn't get the word out to enough people about him or who he was or whatever. It's amazing he got 9% of the vote. That's unbelievable. When you keep voting for this, these people believe they're invincible. They believe they're invincible on their actions. They believe they're invincible on their hypocrisy. They believe they're invincible on their lying. It's why I have the standard of vote out all the incumbents. All of them. All of them. Get them all out of there, no matter what the office is. Because everybody's bad, but my guy, no. Your guy's bad too. There's a 99% chance your guy's bad too. Hey, guys, buying a home is one of the biggest investments you'll ever make, but it's about so much more than just a price tag. It's about starting a next chapter. When you work with Lauren Wilson, her goal is to make sure you feel 100% confident in every choice you make. She's not there just to show you houses. She's there to guide you through the schools, the neighborhoods, everything that goes into finding a place that's right for you. No pressure. No intensity other than making sure and being intense about getting you in the place that you're 100% comfortable with. She's an Indy lifer, Central Indiana, military vet. She's about getting you getting the experience for you, making the experience for you one you're totally happy with when it's all said and done. No regrets, no buyer's remorse. You're there because it's the place you wanted to be. Get to know Lauren Wilson with At Properties. Huge supporter of our show. Great gal. We love Lauren Wilson. 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. All righty. Let's take a break. We've got a lot more to go today, including when we come back. Producer Jason will bring you the best YouTube comments of the day. Lots of prompts for me to respond to. So much action still to go. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
If authentic wood-smoked barbecue is your thing, Double D's Barbecue in Clayton is the place for you. Owners Dennis and Tina Duncan, along with their son Garrett, are from Memphis. So when it comes to barbecue, they're not screwing around. No pellet smokers, no roasters, just authentic wood-smoked Memphis-style barbecue. All of Double D's food is cooked fresh daily, and it's all made from scratch. Double D's Barbecue, located at 40 and 39 in Clayton, is open all day, Wednesday through Saturday, but get there early because once they're sold out, they're done. Check out the full menu, ribs, brisket, and more at ddbbq317.com.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
With a lakefront view in beautiful Brazil, the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage is a little out of the way, but totally worth the trip. Down home, made from scratch food, just like the good old days at Grandma's. When you visit the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage, you'll leave more at peace than when you came in. Open 5 to 8 for dinner on Friday and Saturday, and Sundays 11 to 1:30 for the buffet. You must experience the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage. Call 812-443-3003. 812-443-3003.
Your bathroom fan could be secretly costing you thousands of dollars in damages. Most people don't even know this until the damage is done. With over 18 years of bathroom remodeling experience, here are 3 signs your fan is failing you without spending a dime on inspections. Sign number 1 is if you have foggy mirrors after you shower. This shows that your fan isn't pulling out enough moisture, which creates the perfect environment for mold. If you have a properly functioning bathroom fan that is the right size for your space, you shouldn't see much fogginess on your bathroom mirror at all. Sign number 2 is if you have bubbling, cracking, or peeling paint in your bathroom. This means moisture is soaking into your walls, slowly breaking down drywall, and even causing the wood framing behind it to rot. Sign number 3 is if you have mold buildup on your fan, ceilings, or walls. This is terrible for your health, but also could wreck your bathroom, costing you a fortune. If you're noticing any of these signs, here's what you can do.
Call Vent Savvy today at 317-300-4434. That's 317-300-4434 and mention Rob for a free attic inspection.
We have a big announcement, guys. Many people have contacted me, and this is why I ask. I don't do it for sport. If I need information, I'm genuinely asking, and multiple people have pointed out to me and let me know. Jamie Rittenauer has filed and paid the fee to run for Secretary of State. See how easy that was? Thank you. She sent me a message as well. And so I told her, I said, thank you very much. I will schedule that interview, and we will have Jamie Rittenauer on this show. See how easy that was? You got to do a better job of letting people know, though, Jamie. Like, that was the worst publicized announcement in human history. I saw everybody else's stuff. Got to do a better job getting the word out. But see how great that was? And thank you to all of you who did the research for me. See, you are the executive research staff of the Rob Kendall Show. And we thank you for doing that for me. See, if I could just have like 9 of you guys just follow me around and do everything for me, life would be so much easier. But there we go. All right, so we will have her on the show. Bam, we're rolling. By the way, we are still like 5 likes short of 200. That is ridiculous that we don't have 200 likes yet on this program. Come on, guys. We don't ask anything of you. 200 likes, a small price to pay for 3 hours of Indiana news, politics, and government that other people just won't do. It's ridiculous. Get there. Come on. Help us out. Putting all this effort into it. Anyway, speaking of effort into things, Nobody puts more effort into the show than producer Jason.
Damn, already? I keep getting earlier and earlier.
Well, I'm going to do stuff after you're done.
Okay. Well, no problem.
No, I'm not done as soon as you're done. I'm
not complaining. I'm just saying.
So here, okay.
I'm just never quite sure when you're ready for me.
If you're new to the program, here's how we do things. Okay, we do the first 2.5 hours, and then we turn for a period of time the show over to producer Jason. He reads the best YouTube comments of the day, and in order to be a commenter on the YouTube chat, you have to be a subscriber. We are closing in on 3,000 subscribers, and my goal is to get to that by Sunday. I think we can do that. I think that's a reasonable expectation.
How many do we have?
We're closing in on 2,900.
Okay.
So we got to basically get
we can do that by Sunday.
Yeah. So we got to get to, my goal is to get to 3,000 by Sunday, and I
have faith.
Well, yeah. One, our show, the YouTube chat is brought to you by the fabulous Black Sheep Plumbing. We'll tell you about them in a second. But two, it's not by any means a throwaway or just here, go do this. Jason says things from you guys because I don't get to see the chat during the show most of the time. So he'll say things that you guys said, and then it will spur me to launch into new, fun, different things that I'll get more pissed off about.
And to clarify, Rob does read the chat. He goes through it during the break. He goes through it at home when the show's over. So it's not like I'm the only one relaying this to Rob. So anything you guys write, I mean, he does see it all. He goes through it all.
But not like during the show.
That was important to point out.
Yeah, with a fine-tooth comb. Yes, I will see certain, because we do comment on certain things people say.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so anyway, that's what we do here. We have the best YouTube community. I love you guys so much. You're such a huge part of this show. Every single one of you who comment and contribute, you guys are awesome. And so that's why we do the YouTube chat. And so with that, floor is yours.
It is brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, could be looking at a major expense, don't let your next call to the plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. Black Sheep Plumbing can do the job right at a fraction of the cost of the big guys. Owner John McKinney, he is a Hoosier lifer. He takes pride in, stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. You can call or text John at Black Sheep Plumbing, 765-315-7558, 765-315-7558. Black Sheep Plumbing.
All right. Oh, programming note.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get to the comments,
mm-hmm.
taping State House Happenings.
Mm-hmm.
Coming up when we get done with our show today.
Right.
So tomorrow morning, State House Happenings will greet you.
6 a.m.
6 a.m. It'll be scheduled and ready to go. Abdul, Merritt, myself, Abdul's going to do a deep dive with us on this thing with Rokita and Masalamy. That Rokita going after that nonprofit and the Hamilton County GOP chair, getting locked into that in the feud with those guys because he broke the story, at least kind of in the mainstream media he did. So that'll sort of be one of our focuses for the show coming up tomorrow. But anyway, go ahead. Chat. Let's do it.
According to LD Stoltz, we are at 200 likes.
Oh, great.
Now.
And
climbing. There we go. Oh, the old man. It's producer Jason time. Yes, it is. Everybody sit back, relax, and enjoy some producer Jason time.
But old man was not first in the chat today.
He was not first in the chat. Again, I think we make more of a deal out of that than anybody. We just kind of come in and always like to see who's in already.
Now there's a group of people that's a big deal for them to be mentioned on this show. That
I think they're all just happy to be here. They kind of let each other. You get to go first today. No, you go first. It's all one big happy family. Who's your watch? A new one in the chat was first.
Oh.
Good morning. You keep eluding the job switches. It's time to spill the tea on Paula Copenhaver.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'll do that. That's fine. She's a big fraudster. So Paula Copenhaver, and by the way, she's told people this. Shelton alluded to it when he was on our show. So go back.
She's an admitted fraudster?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Not an admitted fraudster, but what I'm talking about here.
Allegedly.
So Copenhaver, Paul Copenhaver, is the chick with Spencer Deary, running at Spencer Deary. There's 2 votes that separate them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She worked for Rokita. She was a Shelton fan.
Okay.
David Shelton.
Okay.
Rokita, of course, on board with Diego, gave Diego money and all, Team Diego.
Mm-hmm.
We know Rokita doesn't tolerate any person who doesn't do exactly whatever he wants and whatever.
Right.
It's amazing to me that people think this is like a huge deal. I just I guess I forgot I never actually told the story. So she goes to, and Paula was very nice, very nice woman. And I'll talk about what my issue with her is here in just a second and why I'm talking about this now. And again, you can go back and watch the Shelton interview. He alludes to this, and she's told a bunch of people, so it's not like it's some secret. She goes to an event with Shelton. Like not wearing Shelton campaign material, not like, hey, I'm, Shelton's biggest fan. She's not working the tables with Shelton. She just goes to this, I think it was a Lincoln Day.
Okay.
She goes to this event
you weren't allowed.
with what's that?
And you weren't allowed.
Well, I don't know. I didn't try to go to this one. I've only been banned from one, and that was the Hendricks County Lincoln Day. I don't know what they would do if I tried to go to another. Someone else want to invite me to a Lincoln Day, see if they'll ban me from it's got to be Central Indiana.
This will be your hometown. Maybe you can get in.
So she goes to this event with Shelton. Again, not like advertising it, whatever. They go there. They show up together. And Rokita blows a gasket. Rokita blows a gasket over this, so much to the point that she skedoodles on out of the office.
Okay.
Now,
a little uncomfortable?
It's unclear to me whether the skedoodling was by choice or by force or voluntold or what the deal was. But then she ends up in Micah Beckwith's office. Now, the ridiculousness on this, and by the way, Paula, if you want to refute any of this, come on in.
We've got another white chair for you.
Take it up with your guy Shelton, because Shelton's telling everybody this too. And he said it on our show, or he alluded to it on our show, right? And you've been flapping your gums about it to other people too, so she ain't going to dispute it. But if you want to dispute it, let's have the conversation. And I'd love to know if you skedoodled on your own or you were told to skedoodle, how the skedoodling happened. Anyway, so then she goes to Micah. Well, the Micah thing's ridiculous because he claims, I fired Aaron Sheridan. Of course, Aaron's the one who blew the whistle
right.
on the alleged AI porn being shared in Micah's office.
And then was fired.
And then by the way, Micah, maybe tomorrow we'll talk about the other person that got fired out of Micah's office who talked to me. Maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow. Remember, our friend here the other day was talking about that.
That's right.
Yeah, I think we'll talk about that one tomorrow. The latest of the Micah firings because they talked to Rob Kendall.
Right.
But anyway, she ends up in Micah's office, which is fine, whatever. She can go wherever she wants. But the ridiculousness on that was Micah claimed, I fired Aaron not because she was alleging the AI porn
because she
stuff.
Snitched on us.
He didn't say that. He goes, her position wasn't needed, and we were just saving money for the taxpayers. Well, he replaced Aaron. It wasn't like he just got rid of Aaron and didn't bring anybody else in. He replaced Aaron and then brings Copenhaver in. Now, I don't think they have the exact same position, but she comes in as soon as Aaron goes out. So it's not like we're on board. Mike is doing this to save taxpayer money, which is also evident that he has 3 communications people. I don't even know what one of them does. What's those 3 of them? And by the way, and what we did the math was $272,000 between.
Okay.
So what pissed me off, though, and I wasn't going to say anything because, whatever. People leave jobs, they come to jobs, whatever, was then she goes out and is bragging about Rokita's endorsement when she's running for Senate, Copenhaver.
Okay, right.
Oh, it's so great to have this Rokita endorsement, and I love Todd, and he's wonderful, and what an honor. Lady, you fled the office by choice or by force, but you got the hell out of there because Rokita was pissed off that you went to the event with Shelton. But instead of stepping up and going, this guy's an asshole, and I couldn't wait to get out of there because it was going to benefit her politically, she goes on, Rokita's great. Rokita endorsement. Fraudsters. All of these people, when push comes to shove, liars and fraudsters. And Paul, if you want to have the chat, you're more than welcome to come in. We'll have the chat. And if you're pissed off about it, take it up with your guy Shelton.
All right. Well, hopefully that answered Hoosier Watch's question, number 1 out of the gate. Wow. The old man follows up. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Halfway through the second week of the awesome 3-hour show. Deep thoughts. Good morning, everyone. Pressing the like button to show support for Rob and producer Jason, the legend. It's spreading. C. Mills, good morning, all. Let's see how many likes we can get before Rob even gets on screen. Again, these comments coming during the 10-minute prelude. of music before the show started. Carol, 1776. Good morning, all time for the Robcast. Hit that like button. Kevin Branham. Good morning, Rob and Jason. McLovin's in the chat. Producer Jason, I couldn't find your Facebook page. It's there.
All you got to do is just
look for Producer Jason. There are other imposter Producer Jasons out there, other parts of the world. But look for mine. You can't miss it because the profile picture has the Rob Kendall Show logo. So just look for that black logo there. MLM Warriors. McLovin's. I had problems finding his Facebook page, too. C. Mills.
Wait.
Just search Producer Jason. His pic is him in the studio.
Yes. What? Like, why is this so hard?
Steve Green with an E. Agree. Producer Jason's Facebook page was difficult to find, but finally got there and hit that follow. I do about 33. I'm up to 33 followers.
Like, I don't understand what was
33 people who had no idea who the hell I was 10 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's like I was a mythical person. Well, not even a mythical. I was nobody. I was nothing. Now I'm a legend.
But I don't understand what was so hard. Like, all you go is YouTube. You put Producer Jason in. There's several people who do have that name.
YouTube, they don't make things. I mean, Facebook, they don't make things easy.
They're great.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's our logo, and you just put Producer Jason.
MLM Warriors. I might have referred mistakenly to MLM Warriors as a female yesterday. I apologize for that. I know
assumed her gender.
It's a male. I believe
gender.
MLM Warriors is a former Marine. I could be completely wrong on that, but I believe if I have my people right, I do research.
Oh,
on people.
You snooping and sneaking?
I'm MLM Warriors. I did search Producer Jason. Only thing that came up was Hammer from WIBC. Well, I'm there. Trust me, I'm there. 33 people have found me.
Would it be easier, like, if I just tweeted out the link to
your
Facebook page?
Well, you could tweet it or you could share it on Facebook, perhaps, maybe, if people can find Rob Kendall.
Okay.
Kevin Branham, who wants to tailgate before the show at Mad Hatter? TTVC8FD. You know, if you guys if you guys are going to comment, you can go to your YouTube page and you can change your name to something that's easier, maybe with some vowels in it, and then we could. No, but I mean honestly, it's not just as joke, but that way it's like when you use a name, then it's easier for me to relate to who you are and that sort of thing. So
maybe they want to be anonymous.
Well, that's fine. You don't have to say who you are. Just I'm saying TTVC8FD.
Did I ever tell you about the time? And I
probably, but go ahead again.
I won't name who the politician was because there's people who work for them, and then they'd get in big trouble because they told me this. This is hilarious.
They shouldn't be talking then, should they?
Well, this is the thing. If you're a prominent politician, Todd, or any of the rest of you, people in your office talk to me. And stuff that happens, like I find out, that's how I get all this stuff. That's how I'm right about all of it.
Right.
So this is hilarious, and this shows the I guess it would be RDS, right? Like Rob derangement syndrome.
Okay,
if it's TDS,
sure.
That these politicians have. Now, I think like most people know, if I say something, I want all the credit for it, right? Like if I post something, I want the click, I want the hit, I want the like, I want the share, and I think it's pretty well known that I loathe most of you people. And my feelings about you, I think I've been pretty direct about them on the internet, on here. Like, I don't think I hide what I think about people. But there was a politician who, and again, I won't say which one it was because I don't think I could say without tipping off who told me the story. There was some anonymous idiot that was harassing them, right?
Okay.
Like an
harassing the politician.
Harassing the politician. I don't know if it was on I think it was on maybe a Facebook account or email or something, right? And he's harassing the politician. And this politician, I don't know why, but they got it in their mind, I bet that's Rob Kendall, and we're going to prove it's him.
Right.
To the point, they brought the authorities in.
Thought you were trolling them.
Well, I think it was like beyond trolling. They're like, we're going to get him. We're going to take him down.
Harassing him.
Right?
Okay,
like, I'm not a legal expert, so I don't know.
Right.
And they brought like actual legitimate law enforcement in. And when they figured out who it was, like they traced it back to it was emails or whatever.
Right.
They were so disappointed that it wasn't me. Like they were just like, it's just some weirdo, right?
Some 17-year-old kid in his bedroom.
And they're telling like their workers, we're going to get him.
Mm-hmm.
He's going down.
Right.
And then they were so disappointed when it wasn't me. So newsflash, anything I say, it's going to be under the name Rob Kendall. Either Rob Kendall Show on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, at Rob M. Kendall on Twitter, or Rob Kendall on Facebook. I want the frickin' click. I don't have to do anything anonymously. I loathe you people.
Indy Kurt, first-time YouTube listener to the program, listened on WIBC and couldn't tell the difference when you left until I missed your insight on local politics. I asked a friend, and he dropped the truth. So here I am.
Oh, great. Welcome. So glad you're here. Thank you. Stay a while. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
Mad Duck could not find my profile either. Courtney Hill, Jason creeping on the Facebook. Everybody used to creep on Facebook back when Facebook was fun.
Well, when Facebook went down.
Now it's just all political.
When you stopped having to have a college email to get into Facebook.
Well, that was, I'm talking after 2009.
When you used to have a college email to get on Facebook, you could creep, and you knew the person you were creeping on was a reasonably well-assembled in or recently out of college.
They didn't have filters back then.
Yeah, right. That's the other thing. You knew what they looked like. You knew you were getting the real thing because it was off some poorly assembled digital camera or one of those cameras, those disposable ones where you had to take them to the Walgreens or the CVS and get a CD and upload them.
So TTVC8FD still waiting, I'm sure, for his or her comment, because I never did read the comment. The comment is, really enjoying the shows, Rob. Thanks so much.
Hey, thank you.
And they've hit the like button, so hope that helps, it says.
Thank you.
Don B., Deskless, Rob Kendall. You like no desk?
My back has felt so much better the last couple of days. It's unbelievable.
And we're changing the chair tomorrow. We've got the Wayfair is delivering today the new gray. They're gray chairs. So
I don't mind.
That way you can wear your white shirt and you won't look like an alpaca or whatever.
I don't mind the chair now that. All right. But you've already bought them, so
I already bought the other one. So if we don't take them out of the box, we could probably send them back. I think they'll be more comfortable.
Well, but these chairs,
we have some rather large people that are guests sometimes.
These chairs were going to go down. That's the problem. We were very concerned.
These
chairs are
weak.
Not made for human consumption.
Yes, do not buy those off Amazon.
Like if you have like a poodle, maybe this chair would be good.
MLM Warriors, a lot of white. Don B., in the arms of an alpaca. That's where I got it. Kevin Branham, Rob, the white shirt blends into the chair. MLM Warriors, Rob, the shirt looks awesome. Kevin Branham, he let us know he was 8th in the chat today. Thanks for that declaration. McLovins, I like the lighting today. It's a daily struggle, McLovins. It's a daily struggle. Ask Rob.
Why is it a struggle? I sit in the same
Well,
place.
You just sit and talk. I'm back here like, trying to make you look professional.
But I'm ugly as shit. So
what are you? Not ugly as shit.
You're not going to make me look. You're going to make me look any better.
I try to enhance the.
You're not dealing with Brad Pitt here. I mean, come on.
We're shining light on a pile.
You could polish a turd. It's still a turd.
That's okay. Continuing on.
I mean, I'm meant to be heard, not seen.
White Rabbit. I like the white shirt.
Thank you.
The Old Man 68. It's hard to tell where the chair ends and Rob begins. Courtney Hill. Rob needs like a pastelish green to wear with that chair and the background. Again, the chair, he will not be in a white. You might like that chair more than the gray chair.
My friend Teresa told me that I need to think Easter colors with the shirts, pastels.
Oh, well, that's
what she said. You know Teresa.
Teresa. Oh, yeah, sure, absolutely.
Yeah, you know Teresa.
Oh,
she told me over the weekend. She said,
lovely woman. Good old
Teresa. You need to go with the pastel colors. She said, think Easter.
Well,
this looks like Easter. I would wear this on Easter.
Pam Kendall jumps in and says, love you all for noticing Rob. He's special.
My mom is coming over to help watch
short
Libby
bus
tonight.
Special or
so.
Let's see what else we got. Oh, and Mad Duck says, morning at Pam Kendall. Rob looks marvelous.
Yes, thank you.
Marvelous. Oh,
well,
no, it's M-A-H-V-M. Marvelous.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Branham. Diego sucks. He's in it for the grift. If he doesn't win, I bet he collects unemployment.
I don't think you collect unemployment for losing an election.
Well, you will not have a job. Steve Green with an E. There will never be accountability or justice for the Diego clown show. Spray jockey. Back to purple today. Yes, we are back to purple. The purple light. I gave up on the green. No one likes the green.
I can't see the thing anymore. I used to be able to see the computer. Now I can't see it.
Because you kept looking at it instead of the guest or the camera.
Is that why you did
I had to. It's what a producer does. Subliminal things. If I tell you, then you'll do it. If I just don't say it, then you'll just what happened.
Yeah.
C. Mills. I'm voting for Ballard as a protest vote.
Look, here's the thing, and I'm not telling anybody to vote for anyone. I'm not endorsing anyone. I'm just saying, let's work through this, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say your options are By, Morales, Diego.
Okay.
Every vote that's not for the Republican hurts the Republican. I mean, right? Mm-hmm. So technically, the best thing if you wanted Diego just to lose would be to vote for By. But I feel like you can do double damage. Like I'm already working through my voting process here, and I'm not saying I'm at any conclusion or anywhere close. But my instinct would be you could do double damage by voting for Ballard because you take the vote from Diego,
right.
And you help him get closer to the 10% threshold.
There are people that just are not ever going to vote for a Democrat, regardless of who he is. But an independent, libertarian, sure. Yeah.
Well, I talked about that earlier. The person I had the conversation with, one of the people that's very prominent and well-known, and they go, and I thought it was very interesting because we had mentioned Ballard, but then she goes, well, there's just no way I would ever vote for By. If it's By against Diego, I'd have to vote for Diego, but then she conveniently never mentioned Ballard, right? And obviously she knows about Ballard. So I think there's a lot of people like that who would very quietly go vote for Ballard as a message, sending a message to this wacko wing of the party. Not wacko in the sense like their political beliefs, but wacko in the sense of like staying with this sleaze bucket. Like, why would you do that?
Steve Green with an E. When 99% of voters do straight ticket, Diego will win again.
Okay, so a couple things. He does get a sizable advantage because of straight ticket. Here's the thing he's going to have working against him on that, though. The school board races are this year. And you can't vote for the school board races if you vote straight. Remember that. Now, you have to have a party affiliation this year for the school board races. Can I have just a second?
You have just, I need to do a little maintenance, so go ahead.
All right.
Might want to pull that microphone up a little closer. I just, pointing that out. Go ahead.
So the school board races this year are different. The school board races, you have to, well, you don't have to. You can say you're an independent, no party affiliation. But for the first time, you can declare party affiliation on the school board races. You can say I'm a Republican, you can say I'm a Democrat. Now, there's no primary, so you could have 7 people claiming to be a Republican be on the school board ballot this year. Like, I know that's very confusing, but I tried to simplify it as much as I could. And in order to vote for the school board, if you pull a straight ticket ballot, you cannot vote for the school board. And also, somebody will have to clarify this. Can you vote for a referendum if you vote straight ticket? If you vote referendum, if you vote straight ticket, do you also get to vote for the referendum? I don't know about that. I'll have to look into that. But yes, he will start with an advantage because of the straight ticket. However, I think the Democrats are going to get a lot of pissed off people who don't normally vote in midterms to go vote straight ticket too. Anyway.
Okay.
Did that give you enough time to fix what you need to fix?
Absolutely fabulous,
okay,
Rob.
Very good.
You can kill a moment, can't you?
I can kill the scene. I can kill the room. I can kill the moment.
At OC, Kevin Branham. Rob, you look like Borat today.
Huh?
The character Borat must be the shirt.
Oh,
I don't know.
Did he wear a shirt like this?
I thought you might get that. I thought you might be more hip than me.
I've seen the Borat movies. I don't know. I've never been told I resembled Borat, so I don't know.
Apparently so. Maybe it's just the way you look on screen.
Huh.
All right. C. Mills, Honeysuckle Hill better be for real about that tenderloin.
It's great.
I'm a bit of a tenderloin connoisseur.
It's great. So Honeysuckle Hill Bistro and Cottage in Brazil, they are open Friday evening, Saturday evening, Sunday for the brunch buffet. Totally worth the trip. The scenery's awesome. You know what they need to do? They need to get you out there to play music one of those days for the...
They've got a nice little stage out there.
Yeah, it's great. You guys will love it. Check it out. And it is literally the owner's house. They've turned it into a restaurant. They live in the back. That's the most Hoosier thing ever.
C. Mill says he's heading out to Honeysuckle Hill this weekend.
Great.
Hopefully not on Sunday between 4 and 7 when I'm playing at the Chili Water.
They're not open.
They're not open on Sunday?
Well, they're open for the brunch.
Okay,
but I don't think 4 to 7 is brunch.
That gives C. Mills time to make it back to Chili Water in Greenwood. Chili Water Brewing, Olive Branch Road, 135. I'll be playing from 4 to 7 o'clock. All the hits. Come on out. Request your favorite
one of these
song.
days, I don't know if we could do it here.
I charge nothing. There's no fee.
Show up.
I do a free meet and greet. Extra charge.
Thank you for undercutting the show.
I'm just
appreciate that.
Little prelude there.
We ought to maybe try to have, I don't know how we do this. I don't think we could do it here, but maybe someday we could do a listener roundtable where we have some of our favorites.
Yeah, they've suggested. The top fans have suggested
C. Mills
that.
strikes me as one who could pull his weight.
Yeah, we can't do too many people at once, but we could do a couple. We could do 2 or 3 days worth. Bring a couple in that way. Everybody gets a little. Show? Everybody gets a lot of attention that way.
Well, the focus group. Maybe call it like a focus group.
That's what we do.
Yeah, the focus group. You know how they
producer
talk to people,
Jason focus group.
How are you thinking about whatever?
Right. Yeah. That'll work. C. Mills, I'm super ready for the live show. I made my own shirt last night.
Oh.
Got one for Rob and Jason as well.
How exciting.
Yeah, he hit the producer Jason page and sent me a question. What size shirt do you and Rob wear? I said, well, Rob would wear an extra small. I'll take an XXL. I like room.
Yeah.
I like roomy shirts. Wino Gina B. The algorithm also favors longer watch minutes per video. Talking about the likes. The likes help us because YouTube says, hey, people must be like or dislike. Doesn't matter.
Right.
If you think you're hurting us by hitting that dislike button, you're not. YouTube sees that. There's action over here. Let's go promote that video. And that's exactly
that one guy went
that's
away.
Why you do see the numbers growing up.
We laughed at him that one day, remember? And
we shamed him. Well, then there's a couple copycats hit it for a while, but now every now and then we'll get a dislike. But it's
as long as you engage.
I think the most dislikes we've had on any show is maybe 3. And I think that was when we were talking about it, so people were kind of probably just tongue-in-cheek doing it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
We said it doesn't hurt us, so they're like, well, let's just have some fun and do it. But, it's better if you just hit the like button. When Mad Duck in the chat. Whenever I hear the name Todd, I think of Bill Murray and Gilda Radner on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Oh, Todd. The old man 68 at Robert Schwartz. I live outside of the donut counties, and no one runs advertising for these offices down here. Diego's opponents need to flood the entire state with ads showing his corruption.
And I think
because again, straight voter, they just he's a Republican. He must be worthy.
They're gonna Murdoch Diego. I mean that they're gonna turn him into exactly what they did with Murdoch, and they're gonna have months to do it. Unlike Murdoch, they just had a few weeks after he screwed.
You know what I've never seen is a video of on the news of Diego ever speaking.
Yeah. He doesn't.
They're protecting him in that.
Well, somebody pointed out, and it's true. He doesn't do interviews other than Whoa. He'll go.
I mean, you never even see a clip of any event of him speaking. I want to see him speak on TV, and that will kill a lot of votes
because he sounds.
He's
horrible.
incompetent.
No, he is, and that's where those Whoa guys up in Fort Wayne. Well, guys, the chick in the morning who just nods along with him. She's a woman.
Uh huh.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like. Must be standard operating procedure. Like, shame on those people.
That's why I'm not a co-host.
It's just like, shame on those people. You have these clowns in front of you, and you'd rather be friends with them. That's why Micah went to Whoa. Micah had to stop going on IBC because everybody figured him out.
We got the lieutenant governor coming in today. Everybody dress well and be on your best behavior. It's so great.
Katz had him from the beginning. Katz had him pegged perfectly from the beginning. Me, I got hooked, right, and I've admitted that. But then once we obviously figured him out, and then Hammer and Nigel weren't buying his BS anymore, so what'd he do? He ran to Whoa. And I guess the Whoa people think like it's cool to have him on. I don't know.
They don't have a Rob Kendall in Northern Indiana.
I'm telling you, somebody who's familiar with ratings, he doesn't do anything for your ratings. But they should be grilling these people. Like, you want to be Billy Badass Tough Guy talk show people? Stop being friends with these people. Start holding them accountable. Stop just going along with whatever drivel comes out of their mouth.
Perhaps be a reporter.
Well, but they've seen when you hold these people accountable, what happens to some of us who hold them accountable.
Deep thoughts. I miss Piper and Cobb ads.
You know, Piper owns that vet clinic. I'm going to ask Piper because I've been telling him that's going to be my sales pitch to him. People loved your ads. Don't you want to come back?
Yeah. Kevin Branham, I miss the Cheesem. Linda Cheesem.
Oh, yes.
Keebler Chris, I'm a GOP delegate, and I am not voting for the Secretary of State.
Is that Kiesler?
Kiesler. Well, he says Keebler.
Oh.
It's Keebler.
Oh, maybe it's
like
not
the
Chris
cracker.
Kiesler. I don't know. Well, if you're a delegate, you need to go vote for Shelton. You got to vote for Secretary of State. You got to vote for Shelton.
I'm not voting for the Secretary of State.
Oh, he means Diego.
Well, okay, the current.
Yeah,
okay, current. There we go.
Yeah.
That would make more sense. Vic Ferrari. Totally agree, Rob. I think the only difference, okay, talking about Iran, Trump, etc. I think the only difference is Iran has claimed to use their nuclear capabilities when acquired. If that were to happen, these would be the happy days we will recount. So he's saying, yeah, your gas price sucks, but nuclear detonation 3 or 4 years from now would make these the good old days.
I remember Colin Powell.
I gotta agree with that because I mean, you know,
God, Jason,
it's just
how many times do these people have to lie to you about this?
It's just his message that it's and Trump's just not a good messenger. He just, he just talks and says what comes out, and he has no plan of attack. But in his mind, steel trap. He knows what he's doing. He's got us covered.
They've been running mushroom cloud.
Daddy Trump will protect us.
They've been running these mushroom cloud propaganda pieces since Goldwater in '64.
You asked earlier, well, what if this was Biden? I would not trust Biden to be competent and make a deal, or not even a deal. I would not trust him to look out for the best interest of Americans. He'd be looking out for the best interest of the party, his son, everything else. The conspiracy theory, yeah, I would believe that with Biden. With Trump, it's like, well, that's why I voted for him, because I need him to de-nuke Iran. I believe I believe it'll happen. If it goes on another
60 years, they've been doing this now.
Right, and we finally got a competent person to come in who wasn't worried about his poll ratings or whether he's going to be reelected.
That's all he ever thinks about is himself.
He'll take care of business.
Get out of here.
If it's over in a month,
get out of here. I cannot believe after all
you may have to finally admit you're wrong. Right?
All these there's nothing for because he's never laid out what we're doing there. Nothing.
We're getting rid of the nukes to protect your daughter.
What nukes?
Well, I mean, okay.
This is my point. These guys lie about everything.
Okay. Well, if you're going to go with that tinfoil side, then we'll continue on. Mad Duck, the biggest threat to the U.S. is its own government.
That's right.
Kevin Branham, America should always come first. I agree, Kevin, 100%. Vic Ferrari, let's now ask ourselves, if Iran went nuclear, what have they said they would do with it, Rob? They had a nuclear bomb. What do you think they would do with it?
Okay, but
think they would sit back and admire it? Look what we built.
Look.
Like your show. Look what we built.
Please
contribute, donate,
hit that like button. If we're concerned about lunatics who have nuclear bombs, North Korea is as advanced or more advanced than the Iranians. They have it.
Well, but they haven't threatened to blow up Israel or the United States.
Oh, boom. You just admitted it. This is about Israel. It's not about us.
The one country in the world that the closest connection to the United States would be Israel.
Israel.
Citizens and everything.
Look, I'm fine with stuff like Iron Dome. It has reached us, the money, the adult supervision, the constantly meddling in others' affairs. On their I'm done with that. After all these years,
you're done because of the past failures of the past presidents. Steve Green with an E. I thought during talks Iran said they were 2 weeks away from having 11 nukes. If that's true, and we have to take them for their word, Rob, then I think it was justified. But I don't know if I believe that, is what Steve Green says. And that's the thing. I think the messaging is all wrong. I agree with you 100% on that.
Well, there is no messaging.
Well, again, he's just not explaining it properly. Indy Kurt, if a regular, logical guy who cares for his people first would run, the sheep would vote against that person. Meaning, if a person was actually out looking for the best interest of the people would probably vote against him because I think what Indy Kurt's saying, not putting words in his mouth, people are so damn brainwashed that,
Well, that is interesting.
Because what's best for you is usually tough love. Like our current president. Tough love. Get the job done. You don't like it? I'm not here to appease you, child.
There's no way I could have done this without 430 gas. I mean, yes, that's a hell of a message.
Vic Ferrari. I love how the passion doesn't change even when talking about exhaust fans that don't function properly. You are very emphatic about your commercial
I
reads.
love our sponsors. They're awesome people.
And Matlock. Hi, guys. Joining late. Better late than never, Ann. Robert Schwartz at Steve Green. I'm pretty disgusted with both parties. Neither offers us anything worth voting for. All right. Ethan Hatcher. Rob sure does look majestic with that purple background.
Ethan, he's on the radio today. How does he do that?
I don't know. He gave me hell yesterday. Oh, you didn't use the purple. I did all that work so we could use the purple.
How is he able to comment on our show
Ethan,
and be on the radio? I could never do that.
Ethan, are you using a purple light on your radio show right now? No.
You know he's going to show up one day and just stick 2 ferns in front of her. Like, this is our set now.
He won't be allowed.
I'm the captain of this ship.
They won't allow it. Drain the swamp. I agree, Ethan. That purple rocks, although some might call it blue. We won't go through it all again. I don't think it's purple. I think it's purple blue.
That's purple.
I think this is purple. For the people listening, sorry. Okay, that's blue. That's supposed to be.
If you're listening on the Apple or Spotify, Jason has a little clicker and he's changing the back.
You should go watch the video.
And give us some hits over there on YouTube as well.
Join the fun. The Old Man 68. Diego is Indiana's version of the Clintons. Everyone knows they are a piece of hot garbage, but still vote for him with no plausible reason.
Yeah.
Fairly accurate description.
Yeah.
Vic Ferrari, it's purple. All right. Thanks, Vic. C. Mills just drove past dancers on Washington Street. Made me think of producer Jason.
You never worked at dancers.
I never worked. That was the one club in town I never worked at. They were a little too high class for me.
Well, I had a friend.
I like dive bars.
I had a friend who was employed there, and that's upscale.
Yeah. Let's see.
They never let you work there.
Brandon Peterman. Now, I don't mean this to be mean, but Tony Kennett hates Thomas Massey with a passion. Mad Duck follows up. Tony Kennett ain't all that either.
We like Kennett.
Yeah, I'm saying that's. I want to make sure that wasn't.
Kennett's nice, but he's wrong about Massey. Massey's awesome. I don't know what else to say. I mean, like, either we're for paying our bills or we aren't.
Mm-hmm.
Massey represents for paying our bills. All the other Republicans are like, nah. We'll just, somebody else, they're dine and dashers, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we like Kennett, though.
Yeah. LD Stoltz. Tony who? Vic Ferrari. Ducky throwing heat. Talking about Tony Kennett. All right. Let's see. What else? Did I run? No, we've got more here. We've got plenty more time.
What time is it?
It's 11:56.
No, we don't have time. We got to get the studio set up for State House Happenings.
Well, I'm not ending with that one.
Oh.
Let's see. We've got to end on another one. Let's see. Okay, here we go. And Matlock. Agree with Jason on this. Sorry, Rob.
Oh.
I think that's a good one to end on.
Well, here's my deal. If somebody wants to come pay for my gas, then I'll be all about it.
Well, I mean, Biden, it was more expensive under Biden.
Did you see me cheerleading Biden?
It's a momentary blip.
Was I saying how stupid the Biden stuff was, too?
Well, that's okay. Give it time.
I expect Abdul to be just like waiting outside our door. It's like he can't get in the building.
He can't get in the building. Won't let him in.
All right.
So long. Oh, this chat brought to you, as always, by our friend John from Black Sheep Plumbing. Make sure you get Black Sheep coming a call. So long.
And he's supposed soon he's going to have a mobile billboard driving around on his truck.
Look for it. Let us know. Take a picture of it.
All right.
To us.
Find
producer Jason on Facebook. So long.
All right. It's going to do it for us today. If you haven't done so yet, before you leave, hit that thumbs up button, man. That is so key to helping us grow this program. Tell your friends about us. Help us get the word out. And again, head over to robkendallshow.com. Get your tickets to the live show. They're moving fast. Once they're gone, they're gone. June 27th, Mad Hatter Comedy Club Event Center in Greenwood. That is going to do it for us today. For our producer Jason, Rob Kendall, you've been watching Rob Kendall Show.